the way that he's like dominating these races. Like we've seen him beat Noah last year before the Olympics and then lose at the Olympics. But this time it's not even close. And it's happened multiple times against everybody, Noah and the rest of the field as well. It's feeling like something is different. Like something different is coming for him at the World
You hear a
Championship.
lot of talk about the times in Eugene, and the times in Eugene are really fast all the time, and they are. And Melissa Jefferson ran really fast in Eugene. She ran 1067,
6'5", 6'5",
1065
Eugene.
in
Yep.
Eugene. But she's running 1060s everywhere, man. She ran 10.6
In
in
Poland.
Poland, in
Yep.
Silesia.
She
Uh,
ran 10.7 in Brussels, which was kind of chilly. That was where like Shelly, Sha'Carri,
right.
like
She was
yeah,
gone. She
Negative
was
point
gone.
two. Negative
She
point
was
two.
gone.
Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone doing the 400 is like Tony Hawk going out there to do the first 900. Meaning like y'all could do your best trick competition all you want, but I got a trick that y'all can't hit that's better than the trick y'all got. He struggled to hit that time. He struggled to hit that trick for a while because nobody believed that anyone could do it, and then he landed it. Meaning, when she's running these time trials, and you see her face being kind of like, "Oh man, I kind of wish that was a little faster," and so on. Like she's not racing these ladies. She's just racing herself. World Championships are officially coming, and with that, we had to hop in and actually discuss all of the sprints and all the hurdle events. Before we get there, we had to bring some reinforcements to the conversation. So we have Anson Henry of Track and Field Network. Let me rephrase that. The distinguished Anson Henry.
Respect. I was going to correct you, actually, with respect. Yes.
With that in mind. And I mean, hey, I mean, if you have been watching the channel for a while, whether it's me or the final leg, you should have seen this face before. But if you're new, you're about to find out. And we've got to start this off with the men's 100. I mean, and as we think about that conversation, it is, let's be real, the conversation starts at the top, where when the year started, we already knew who the two names were. We had the reigning world champion and Olympic gold medalist, because they're not the same thing, Mr. Noah Lyles of America, and then Kishane Thompson, who was the silver medalist, but I mean, depending on who you ask, is the fastest man in the world on the clock. He did it last year in 2024, and he did it again in 2025. But apparently, Oblique Seville did not like that he was not included in the conversation and has decided to run his way into it. So, with that in mind, I mean, again, we'll talk about other names. We'll talk about other names, but let's be real. That's where the conversation starts. So Anson, I mean, yeah, how do you see this, shaking out? Because the moment is here. Ain't no other races between now and when the heats go off.
I think Noah's right where he wants to be. The first thing I'd say. And I'd say that Kishane is where we expected him to be. And I think Oblique is the biggest surprise. But when I see Oblique's wins, I see angry runs. They look angry. They look like, why aren't y'all talking about me? Why aren't y'all seeing this? If you're not gonna talk about me, if you don't see me, I'm gonna make you see me. And he's done that. And he sounds very confident. He looks really good. I think I don't think we brought him up in our discussion when we spoke before. So that's a testament to what I'm saying right now. Is that he's like, wait, I'm here, and he's beaten some big names aside from Kishane, which is another story. I mean, we'll get to that. But I think that those were statement runs, in the purest sense when he won against Noah those two times, especially the win in the rain in London. It was, I remember Sarnell Hughes ran 10 flat in rain conditions just similar to that at the British Championships. I thought that was one of the most impressive 100-meter races I've seen in the rain. And Oblique in the same conditions ran 987. So it's like, think about that. You think about the Jamaican trials when he's cramping before the race, that still comes out with a 983, was it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's like, yeah,
983.
when I was talking to Jordan Anthony, he said, Kishane's 975 was impressive, but I'm more impressive about what this guy ran off of cramping. And when you really think about it, That's an enormous. He's got really big performances this year, but bottom line is you got to get through the rounds, man. Got to get through the rounds, and he hasn't been able to do that in the past. That's his biggest hurdle right now.
Do you think
Yeah.
that I gotta ask, do you think that played into what happened at Jamaican trials? Because they had rounds.
It could have. It could have, man. And it's something that this is what we all know he's fast. We all know he's fast, but just how it's playing out, if you're not doing it at the championships, nothing else matters. We didn't even talk about him, man. We spoke for a long time. I really don't think his name came up. Not that he's slow, but it's just that we haven't seen him come through when it matters. And that's this is if he's able to prove it at this stage of his career, um, it's a really big thing. Because I don't know if you guys know this. Most people that win the world championships do it within their first or second. I think there's a few that have done it at their third attempt at the
Mhm.
world championships. This is going to be his fifth. No one's ever won the world championships in their fifth attempt at a world championships. It's never happened in history. He's not old, but it's according to the numbers, he's not supposed to win. If you according to those numbers, not the numbers on the clock, but according to those numbers, he's not supposed to win. So
Mhm.
I mean,
it'd be the
that
first in
that's
history.
that's my biggest thing with Oblique. Like he, it's not like we've seen it once. It's not like we've seen it twice. Like not even three times. Like he's been to the championship so many times and come up short. And even though I know a lot of people like to say that, not like to say, I guess he definitely got injured last year in that final. He still ran 991. But to me, as a professional, your job is to show up ready. Like there's no excuses, right? So that still
It's true.
counts. That still counts. But I think, like you said, between what he's done this year, and like the way that he's like dominating these races, like we've seen him beat Noah last year before the Olympics and then lose at the Olympics. But this time it's not even close. And it's happened multiple times against everybody, Noah and the rest of the field as well. It's feeling like something is different. Like something different is coming for him at the World Championships. Now, again, he does have to get through those rounds, but to me, something might be different this year where he finds a way to show up when it counts in that final specifically. Now, I don't know if that means gold, but I do.
Sounded like
I,
gold talk. Sounded like gold talk to be from
I,
that
I
side.
assume that's what you meant.
I just want some stances. I want some stances from you guys to bet, right? I don't
No,
want
hey, you,
I want some
I've already
distinct
planted my flag.
stances. Okay, we're gonna see. We're gonna see.
I've been
We're gonna
consistent.
see.
People on both sides get mad at me,
Mm.
but I mean, I've been consistent. I mean, well, okay, let me before I go there. So, Anderson, are you saying that you think Oblique is? We know he's a serious contender for gold. That's not the discussion. Are you
of
saying that
course.
you would take him at this point?
No, I'm also consistent. I have Kishane Thompson. He since January, arguably since like after the Olympics last year, I've felt like Kishane Thompson has been the favorite, and to me, he's just proven that every step of the way between racing very frequently on the circuit, remaining healthy, and obviously he had like a little chin thing he pulled out. That's no concern for me. He's beaten out literally, actually, literally every single person possible he's beaten out between Oblique Seville, Noah Lyles, Kenny B, Akani Simbine. He's beaten out everybody. Like Zarnell Hughes, like even guys who are not going to be there, Trayvon Bromell, Christian Coleman, like he's beaten out everybody. Now, I know people will say, oh, the second half of his race, oh, Noah was close in the Poland Diamond League. But I can't, I'd be betting on Kishane to make a mistake, which could happen. But like, I just feel like he is the most talented. He didn't run 975 for no reason. He didn't run 977 last year for no reason, and 979 and a whole bunch of 98s. And again, he's beaten out every single person who is going to be a contender on the line. Like I have Kishane Thompson as my favorite.
Okay, all right. So with that on the board, what
Wow.
what? Okay, what were you gonna say?
I just want to ask him a question. I just want to ask him
Please
a
do,
question.
please do.
Uh,
If you're a Kishane and you watch back that Celestia race against
Mhm.
Noah, are you comfortable with that?
I'm not comfortable, but that's why. That's why he has a whole month to make sure that he's even more ready. Because we
But
know
that's
that
the
it's
lasting thought. That's the lasting thought that you're gonna have going into that last training block is that this guy was at least 5 meters behind me and close to within half a meter or less, about half a meter
yeah,
by
yeah,
the
yeah.
finish line. I'm not. You know when you're out there, no matter what, when he's out in the middle of that race, when the pressure's the highest, the only thing that's going to be on his mind is he's coming, he's coming, he's coming. That's the last feeling that you want. And I'm not now. If we're going strictly off of who what sprinters we like the best, Kishane is a favorite of mine in that way. I like his demeanor. I like the way I like his pattern, his race pattern. And I like the way he, I like the way he wins, how he wins.
Okay.
And Oblique could be up there as well. But we're talking about just raw competitors and raw, you're just not beating me type of, and people who are on pace the way they should be going into a championships and can get through rounds. I know I cut you. I know I cut you off a second ago, Rob.
Hey,
Or
I ain't worried.
Coach Rob. I just wanted to say,
I ain't worried.
I think the fact that Noah runs the 200 plays into round running, which is good for Oblique because Oblique ran some twos earlier this year, which was really, really good for him. It's not about being good at the two. A lot of people don't realize this. Running the 200 isn't about being good in the two per
Hmm.
se.
Hmm.
It's being able to withstand a lot of running. So why see Oblique running a lot of twos early in the year? I'm like, okay, he's gonna be ready for rounds. Um, Shane hasn't done that. And I think that's important. It's not about maybe he's never going to run 19 seconds, but if he runs 20.1, 20.2, and does it a few times throughout the year, I know he can do some rounds.
I don't believe that Kashane actually the 200 would be helpful, but I believe Kashane is like a not a true comparison, but like I don't know, Marcel Jacobs didn't need 100-meter rounds, or I'm sorry,
Good
200
point.
meters or whatever, right? Or
Mhm.
even like back in the day, like Nesta Carter back in the day, he wasn't running the 200. Like these guys, there's certain guys who weren't running the 200. Now Kashane Thompson has an infinite amount more talent than all those guys, and I think that's going to carry him through for me
Sure.
at least. Like obviously, yes, Noah knows how to run rounds, and I could probably argue that Noah is like the most consistent 100-meter sprinter, even if he's not the fastest. But I feel like Kashane is going to learn from what he experienced last year, what he experienced this year. Like again, he's beaten everybody. Like if like how can I bet against someone who has literally beaten every single person at any opportunity that was given to him, whether
Like
it's
Asafa.
close. No, no, no. Asafa lost. Asafa lost some races. No,
No,
no, no, no.
I'm saying that name just came to my head, but I'm saying like Asafa used to beat a lot of people, a lot, a lot.
A lot of like
Yeah,
not.
but you also, okay. I'm gonna step in now because you brought up Lamont Marcel Jacobs. You like the other names started getting involved. So first off, last time I
That's
checked,
a good
Lamont
example.
Marcel. I mean, he was a long jumper that came over to the 100 last time I checked. Am I correct?
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay,
He
so that's
was,
his.
yeah.
I mean, that's his story. The Kishane Thompson story. Since that's where we're at. Let me. This is how I view it. Kishane Thompson essentially came out of nowhere, and some people think that he has infinite amount of talent, including you. I'm not here to say that he doesn't have a lot of talent. However, I'm gonna pump the brakes on that because I live in Florida, and let me tell you, Kishane Thompson ran at a college meet in my town. He just didn't do it this past year. It was maybe 2 years ago, and 2 years ago, Kishane Thompson wasn't Kishane Thompson yet. So that means when he came to that track, I was not only not checking, I looked at the results, and the man ran pedestrian. When I say pedestrian, I mean pedestrian. Like 10-2, it was just a race. He was just there. Now, from that moment till where we ended up a year later, he became Kishane Thompson. Like that's what happened. And people are
Mm.
looking at his age. They're projecting out like, the future of his career. At the end of the day, this is what I know. He's around 975, he's around 977, and he ties up at the back of races. That's what I know. That's what I know. And I'm just gonna go off of that because I'm just not able to get behind this train where in the biggest moment, not just of the year, but essentially of like the season, your career, what have you, people are gonna go out there and do things that they've never done before. Like, yes, somebody could. That could in theory happen. It's just not what's most likely to happen. Most likely you're gonna come back down to the waterline. Yes, you'll be peaked. Yes, you'll be ready to run. Like, so you'll be near your best or some version of it, like the coach has dialed you in. But this idea that you're gonna, because like a lot of the Kishane frenzy before the year started was, what could he do? And we're getting some of that same energy with Oblique. And the Oblique energy is, oh man, look at what he just did. Like, because see, I'm the reason why my flag is with Noah is because I expect that when the championship race goes, everybody's going to run close to their best. And when that actually happens, all these other races ain't going to mean as much anymore. Because like, in other words, when Noah gets left, it'd be different if Noah got left and there was people between him and Oblique. Everybody else got left too. And I know that that same group can go with the pace when the championship comes. So again, it just feels to me, because I went back and double checked it. Oblique's PR is 981. That's what it is. And people be saying 9.6 with this guy. I'm like, I don't know where y'all getting that math from. But 9.8, it seems to me like he's just able to run what he's capable of more effectively, which if the sport was set up differently, where we had like a regular season with wins and losses and a playoff, yeah, he'd probably be a better, more well suited for that. But considering we've kind of concluded that in this current framework, he has to get to one race. He has to get to one race, and then he has to do it in that one race. I stacked it up, and I was like, there are three ways for you to read the odds at the top. Kishane loses to Akani, but beats everybody else. And then what you notice is that, interestingly enough, I would say Noah ran more competitively next to him, if we're just going like race to race, than Oblique did. Is that fair so far? Like in the
The
actual races that
in the
happened.
races they had this year.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's what
from
happened.
Jamaican trials
Yeah.
to
Okay.
between and Poland. Yeah.
And then when we get to Oblique, Oblique looked real good in these last two Diamond Leagues when nobody else went with him. Like he decided I'm gonna run 9/8, and everybody else was like, yo, it's a Diamond League, it's not that serious. That's how I felt. And that's how I felt. And he wasn't bulletproof this season because I watched him lose to Kenny Bednarek multiple times.
He did.
We all did. Like we all saw that part. And then and we all saw it live. And we
Yeah.
were all there to watch it in person. And then you move off of that. And then so that's where he's at. And then you get to Noah, who although he hasn't, because he only ran one round at the USA's and he won that heat. I mean, and then after that, he runs 200s that we've seen. Am I missing something? There's only two, right?
Yeah, London and
London and
Lausanne.
Lausanne, right?
Yeah.
And in those 200s, the only men who beat him were Kishane and Oblique. That's it. And the time Noah is running to me is more of an indictment on what kind of like how his season played out, more than it is necessarily like this is just where he is. I feel like this is, I guess, with I'll close it here. The reason why I'm not backing off of the Noah take is for this reason. I feel like if you really are a champion, if you really are as great as, like, again, greatness, winning, like that part, there has to be a time when you ain't supposed to win and you win. You get what I'm saying? Like, and this is across all sports. There has to be a time when you win a championship when you weren't supposed to. Like, if we looked at all the other stuff, we'd say probably not you this time. And you get it. And the reason why I'm comfortable taking him this time is because the last two times, there was enough math to say maybe we don't take you. And then he got it. And I was like, well, maybe this is what you do. Now, he might lose, but the thing is, I don't expect him to be the one messing up in the final. I expect some, we've already agreed. We don't know what everybody else is going to give us. He's the only one who I feel like he's going to give you what he has, which I think all things assumed is going to be about 9.79, 9.80. I think this year he might step it down to 9.78, 9.77, all things assumed. If Kishane can do Kishane things and not tie up in the back, he'll win. But that's if, because he can't practice that race model because there's literally no one who can do that for him. How do you simulate that in training? What are you going to do? Slingshot somebody like off of a bungee or something and try to do that in a workout? Like there's no way for him to practice Noah coming to get him until Noah actually comes out there to get him. Like that's it. Because Akani already showed he could do it when he didn't have enough form to go away from him. So what that told me is, okay, so you ended the season and opened the season and looked exactly the same. And then the rest of these races, you were just so far ahead where they couldn't come get you. And then we started watching people creep. Because Jarnell Hughes tried to creep on him at Prefontaine. The difference is when he did it, he just ain't Noah. So he was 600th off. And when Noah did it, makes sense. If you know who these guys are, Remember, Noah beats Jarnell in 2023. 20, like this math is starting to add up to me. So I'm like, all right, when we get to the final, I'm not backing down. I'm gonna stay with Noah and let that be that. I mean, although if Kishane do Kishane things, I wouldn't be mad at him. I just expect him to go do that. Like where it's like you just gotta throw your hands up and be like, all right, ain't nobody got 974 in the bag, so just let that rock.
Yeah.
I don't
Hey,
know where that puts Oblique, by the way.
yeah. I mean, one name that we're not talking about that we spoke a lot about back a while back was Akani Simbini.
Hmm.
Um, Now, as far as my take on him now, because I spoke very favorably of him back then, I still I still think that he has the potential to do something, believe it or not, simply because his season has to be mapped out differently than everyone else. So if you're running well early in the season, you have to give up part of the season. And I think after he beat Kishane earlier in Shanghai, earlier in the
Yeah,
year,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
um, that's the best we've seen him, the last best time we've seen him. And if I was to think favorably as possible without knowing exactly what's happening, I would think it's like, okay, we know what we can do. Let's dial it back now. Let's just build your body back up for a little while, and we'll chip away as the championships approach. But for a little while, we're just gonna back off a little bit. We're not gonna be doing as much speed. We're gonna do some longer runs. You know, we're gonna do a lot more recovery. Focus on building your body back up, extra treatment, stuff like that, and then we'll chip away again. Um, Based off what's happening, that could still be accurate. What also could be accurate is that he's just tired now. But but the favorable perspective would be that he's let those races go and he's building into a championship because that's where he's come up short in the past.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you got to approach it in a different way, and I think that he may be approaching it in a different way. Mind you, before I said that Oblique was in his fifth world championships, this would be
Oh, his fourth.
Kanye's.
Because I think actually, well, not world championships, but he did Tokyo Olympics, Eugene Worlds, Budapest, and then what do you
2024.
call it? Yeah,
Oh,
24. So this is his
that was
fourth
Oblique. So this
yeah,
would be. Oh, so I'll probably
but
think globals. I'm thinking globals.
1, 2,
globals,
3,
yeah.
4.
But
It
he made
should
the
be five in a
fourth,
Right.
row. Five
five in a row,
globals.
but he didn't make the final at that was like the Olympics in Tokyo. That was like his first whatever. He was like 19 years old or something. Like he just made the semis, I think. But fourth
Okay.
consecutive final for sure.
Fourth consecutive final, but he was at those championships though. Like
In
he
Tokyo.
in Tokyo,
Yeah.
he was
He was
there.
but yeah, he
Okay.
was like he made the semis
He's
or
young.
something like that. Yeah,
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 yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, well, you coming back to Tokyo again?
yeah.
It's a lot
So
of championships, man.
I will say about Akani, I think like in my personal opinion, on a complete like if I was completely biased, I want Akani to win a gold medal. Like I want him to get a gold medal, cap off his career with finally his first medal, whatever. But like, and I think he's been making more progress in the second half of the year. Like he did pretty well in Zurich. He lost to Christian Coleman, but he ran 998. He was pretty well in terms of like, all right, this second half leading to the championships. But the problem is, I just can't see him unless some of the other guys between Noah, Oblique, Kishane, unless they, in my opinion, really falter. I'm not sure I could see Akani taking them down. Like it'd be hard for me, even with like we didn't even mention like Kenny B, who's run 979,
We haven't.
and he dominated Grand Slam, this year,
He
beating
did.
out Oblique a whole bunch of times. Like he's been cooking. So for Akani, it's tough for me to see him get over that hump. It could happen, even with Kenny. It's tough for me to see him get over the three as well, but it could happen. It would just take
I
something really
mean,
really big.
I
Are we
gotta
disrespecting Katie right now?
no.
Nah,
Trust me. Kenny's coming to the party, and I'll bring him to the party this way. So with that in mind, I mean, the Kenny Bednarek situation, which is the situation, because I look at the comment section and see how people feel. There are Kenny fans, and I respect that. But now I'm trying to again use my head for more than a hat rack and not just be a fan. When it comes to talent, speed, etc., I think Kenny is he's so consistent. He's so rock solid. But at the same time, like I don't, I still have yet to see that when under pressure, he can do
Mm.
it. Like, no disrespect to USA's, but like, no Fred, no Noah. They're not there. Remember, those are the guys who you had to run with at the last one. I mean, and then you move forward where, again, no disrespect. Courtney Lindsey, T. Mars McCallum, shout out to them. But there's a reason why we haven't mentioned them on this because
They're not hitters. They're not hitters.
Mhm.
we just don't expect that they might make the final. Like somebody got to get a lane, but like we're just not going to
Yeah.
bring them up when it comes to medals because nobody really believes that. So as a result, like the
Mm.
question is, who did you play? Who did you beat? And if we're bringing oblique to the party now, essentially what we're saying is the oblique that's running now ain't the oblique he raced with. It's like it's a different version. That's more or less what we're announcing. So that kind of what that tells me is more or less Kenny is still is what he is. Like the most offensive take that I might have is that when I look at the landscape of track, fastest people are who we thought they were. Like you can train as hard as you want, and I understand training blocks. Trust me, I went through them. Like all of these things happen. But fundamentally speaking, like when the dust settles, there's generally a pecking order because hard work only beats talent when talent don't work hard.
Hmm.
Like that's the only way you can outwork. So that's why when you bring up Akani and Kenny and all, I feel like I know what you are enough where unless something brand new finna happen, and when we go back historically speaking, generally, as you mentioned earlier, people kind of show it to us earlier in their career, meaning somewhere in between 2021, 22, 23, we see it. 20, like remember, Justin Gatlin is an anomaly because with him, he showed it to us early, goes away for a while for many reasons, and then comes back. So that kind of like
Yeah.
throws off the grid a little bit.
That's why I
Yeah.
put
You
him
know what I'm
ahead of
saying?
Carl Lewis on the
Like
all-time list. But go on, we're not going to get into
That's,
that.
hey,
Different
that's a whole,
discussion.
hey, that's a whole nother discussion. You know what I mean? Hey, I might have to link it in the description. But like, but all that being said, like like that's why I'm saying like Kenny is good. He's in the finals. But if do you after that Salisha race, no
Mhm.
way I'm putting him on my podium.
That yeah,
Ain't no
that's
way.
the
See,
thing.
I'm
that's what
sorry.
people, that's the lasting impression of him. And the thing is, why I was saying we may be disrespecting him, mind you, I agree with you on a lot of your points, is that that's the only time we've seen him lose this season in the 100. Is that the only
Yeah,
loss that he's
that's the
had?
only loss he had.
Right.
Yeah.
And he had spoken in some interviews talking about how he had some jet lag issues because he just got there the day before, a couple days before. I
Everybody
can't
else was
remember.
on a plane too.
Yeah. But some people, there are some people that just don't travel well, which is
Yeah.
why I liked Grand Slam in the first place, is that a lot of those American athletes can show what they can do closer to home. But it's the lasting impression. We saw him not in contention at all in that race. His top speed wasn't there. And the thing is, the way Noah surged past him,
Yeah.
and that it was that's he in that race, he buoyed him to a certain respect. It's like when someone moves by you like that, that's the last that's the last thing as a fan of that person or as an actual athlete you want to see or feel. Is
Yeah.
that they're hoofing and someone just goes by them like nothing. It's the worst. It's the worst,
Thing is,
right?
That's
like
the
when you're watching a Noah Lyles race, the way it feels right now, and this is how these Diamond Leagues were. I'd be 50 meters in the race and he'd be in the back, and I'm like, here he comes.
Yeah,
Gotta,
yeah.
I say it out loud.
he's
Like I say it while
lurking. He's
watching the race. I'm like,
lurking.
here he
He's
comes. So now
lurking.
I'm like, all right, so how many bodies is he gonna catch?
But this is my problem though with Noah, where I just don't have him winning gold, is because that obviously he's had it works for certain times, but I'm not sure it's going to work this time because he has to make sure, yes, he's going to be a little bit farther back, but he has to make sure that he's not far enough back, and he has to make sure that the other guys like start to come back to him. When I say the other guys, I'm talking Oblique and Kishane. Like he has to make sure that works because even in Poland, yes, he was close to Kishane, but Kishane didn't come back enough for him. Like he didn't
Mhm.
get good enough of a start. So how many times can I bet on Noah getting good enough of a start, you know, in the final to make sure that he's going to surpass the other
But
guys?
but remember. See, this is why I don't grade it the way you grade it. I remember watching Noah in his 100-meter heat at the
Hmm.
Olympics, and I remember watching him in his 100-meter semi. Did he win either of those? He didn't. He
He's not
just
a
won the one
one-round
race
guy.
that matters.
Not a
And
one-round
that's
guy.
why I have to, meaning I have to grade him in a different way. I have to, because like I know like greatness comes track and field, like because everybody thinks it's just about a time, but it's not because it's a sport. And anybody who runs knows that the races have different components and people excel in different ways. There is no track and field video game that's halfway to competent. But if there was, you would have actual ratings and things that would hit that would make you a sprinter. It wouldn't just be fast versus not fast. And for that reason, the way that Noah runs, like he has his deficiencies, but he has his superpower, for lack of a better term.
Yeah.
And part of it is he's basically realized what this game is. It's clear. His whole season, it's actually really gangster if you think about it. Because I didn't think anybody would dare to try this. Injury or whatever. Essentially, don't run the entire season. Pop up, and then the only races he ever ran, like actually ran, were heavy hitter races. He said, "All right, fine, then I'll
Yeah.
take Oblique in London. Okay, I'll take Kishane in Poland. Okay, I'll see Oblique in the rain." Then he didn't schedule the rain, but like if you were scripting a movie, if you were gonna script a movie, everything from the USA Championship 200. I remember Otto Bolden saying it on the loudspeaker. He's like, "If you don't beat Noah now, you're not finna get him." And I was like, "Yo, Kenny, if there ever was a day for you to win an American title, this is the day." And he ain't get one. And then you move over to, when we just brought up Kenny again. As far as I'm concerned, when Kenny lost in Poland, it was over. You're not beating Noah this year in a 100. Now, I could be wrong. I could be wrong.
Yeah,
I'm just
anything can
going off of
happen.
all of the races we've ever watched you run with this man till now. After the season you done had. And then for
know
that
what?
to happen to you that way, what it tells me is when it's over, you'll be behind him. So now it's like Noah just gotta look. If he lose, guess what? Technically, he wasn't supposed to win anyway. In terms of like if you add it all up. But if he win, I'm like, yo, all right, fine then. I'm gonna just tip my hat off and just be like, all right, bro. I don't really know how you be doing this, but it's kind of like it's just there are athletes who sometimes they figure out ways to win. I don't really know. Like, it doesn't make sense. Kishane, it would make sense. It's just that we're betting on him outrunning. He had the only way. This is the thing about Kishane, and I'll close here. Kishane has to crush the spirit of everybody else in the race. He has to end it before it begins. Because do you really believe that if Kishane Thompson's in a race at 60 meters to the line, that he gonna win?
If it's close.
If
It's a
he,
tough
if he,
bet. If it's
if
close,
he
no.
is
Oh yeah,
matched,
no, no,
do you
no,
ever
no.
believe that Kishane Thompson matched up with anybody at 60? Like, okay, Kishane Thompson and Akani matched up at 60. You got Kishane now? You
No,
see what I'm
well,
saying?
no,
Like,
no, no, no.
you see,
But
that's part of the
that's
race,
what.
though.
But that's why I look at it both ways, where it's like, okay, sure, if Noah is at that 60 or 40 or whatever, he has like a close enough, target, he'll be able to catch them. But it's also the reverse, where Noah has to be close enough. Like, I'm more confident right now. I'm just more confident in Kashane being able to get it off from the start and being able to push through and maintain towards the finish than I am about Noah being able to get a good enough start to be able to be close enough at 50, 60 meters to run down the field. Yes, we've seen him do it before, but you can only do it so many times. And even like you said before, where you don't even expect Noah to run like 9.76 or 9.75. Kashane can drop off a little bit from his personal best and still win the race, right? Like he has a little bit of a buffer. And I personally, I mean,
A
I don't
little
know.
bit. A little bit.
A little
A
bit,
little
but
bit.
It's a margin.
listen,
It's a small margin.
But as the championships approach, that gets smaller. That buffer gets smaller because everyone's around. What he saw already is not going to be the same thing as what he's going to see at the championships. Mind you, maybe we won't see the same him at the
it's true,
championships.
exactly. Yeah.
Have you ever heard?
But in the
Oh,
past,
sorry.
he hasn't run faster. I mean, it's a short stint, but
One
we
year
haven't seen
past,
it. Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. We have to the day until we see it, we haven't seen it. So we
True,
haven't
true,
seen
true.
him run faster at the
True.
championships yet, which is what was expected. But people were talking about 9.6 last year.
I'm
was
not
at
concerned about
9.75.
the
Yeah.
time. People be going too crazy.
Yeah, I
But
mean,
yeah.
well,
They were, but we're talking faster than 9.75. The way he ran it was 9.75 last year, right? The way he
No,
ran
9.75 this year, and then 9.77 last year,
Yeah,
which was
77.
yeah,
The way he ran at 77 at
it
the
looked
trials,
crazy. It looked
we were
crazy.
like,
Yeah.
what's this guy gonna run?
Yeah.
He ran 78. That's not
Yeah,
slow, but I'm just saying
Or 79, yeah.
circumstances alter cases, and
it's true. It's true. It's
in the
true.
heat, that's just what it's been. And the more we've spoken, I do think that we are disrespecting Kenny. We're all saying it, the same thing, but it was one race. If I was saying what I'm watching, I'd be like, yo, it was one race. It was one race.
Nah, he can prove me wrong. Trust me. I'm a Kenny
He's gonna
Bednarek
have
fan.
to because
I
until he
mean,
does it, just like we said, T Mars and Courtney aren't
Courtney. Mhm.
necessarily hitters. You're not a hitter until you show you're a hitter.
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
not a
and
you. Look ahead.
I was gonna say, just to be fair to Kenny, I think it's just he has that 9.79, but after that, he doesn't have as many consistent 9.8s. Because even last year, he ran 9.87 at the Olympic trials to make the team, and then he ran 9.88 in the final. Now he finished seventh place in the final, so it looked like, oh, you underperformed, but he really performed to his best there. So it's to the point that he can perform to his best again at these Olympic Games. I just think we probably agree it's not going to be enough to take down the top guys.
So he'll go at least 70. He went 79 at trials. He'll go 79 or 80 potential, or based off of that. He's shown that he could do that at a championship.
Something
Basically,
around there. Yeah, yeah,
See,
yeah.
I
you're
disagree with that for this reason. I feel like, hey, I'm gonna go crazy with this part for a moment. People be acting. There's two factors we don't want to that people we don't consider when we get so married to the clock. One is the dumb idiot one, which is just the win factor of the race. 1.8 versus the championships don't ever be positive one. I just did it. I just looked at 2015 till now. You don't get more than a +1 in a championship. We don't.
1.8 in
So,
Eugene.
yeah, that's a 1.8 Eugene, as some people would say. For the record, it's 1.8 Eugene
Supposed to
versus
clarify
he's
that
not going
aspect.
to get +1. Like, nobody's gotten a +1 or like more than a +1 in the last decade in a championship world or Olympics. It just hasn't happened. You're either going to get less than that, like a point 0.8 to about a negative point 0.5. That's what you're going to get when it comes to the wind. And then the next thing is the same way that clutch time matters in basketball, where the last 2 minutes, these guys don't shoot the same way. There's guys who don't want the rock in the last 2 minutes.
Hmm.
They could
Yeah,
shoot in the
yeah,
second quarter when it's 6 minutes
yeah.
left on the clock. But in the
Right.
last 2 minutes, because in their minds, they're now all the shots matter, but now it feels like this shot is consequential. And I think that's where Noah excels, where it's like he's the only one who has proven consistently that when the moment comes, he's unfazed. Usain Bolt did the same thing. When the
But Noah
moment
knows
came,
this too.
he was
He knows this.
unfazed. But then everybody else is just a little rickety compared to, like that's I think that's what we're witnessing now. It doesn't mean they're not fast. It doesn't mean they don't run good races for what they've got. It's just he's the only person who I actually think is going to run his best quality race of the season in that moment. And I have no confidence in anybody, Oblique, Kishane, or anyone else, that they're going to run their actual best. Their coach might dial them in so that they're in a good shape to
This is a
run.
really good point, man.
But that doesn't mean like you were supposed to run faster because of the way I did the training blocks. Like, so obviously the time is going to be decent. But like, are you actually gonna dial in your best quality race in that moment? Probably not. And at that moment, if this is now a game where we running for medals, we ain't just running for clocks.
Yeah, it comes down to racing at some point, and it's the finals. It's going to be fast. Everyone's so the actual times don't mean anything. It's a
Yeah,
race, man. It's
yeah.
a race. So who's getting to that line first? That's all it is.
Okay,
The
so
clock's going to
So,
do what it does.
but before we close on this though, are there any other guys? We mentioned Kashane, Oblique, Noah, Kenny. We didn't mention the guys who won medals last time, like Sile or Zarnell. Do we see them factoring factoring in any way?
Jarnell,
Saving it is.
Zarnell, I feel better about than
Zarnell's
Latile
been
right
having
now.
a pretty good year.
I feel like Zarnell, like the way he's been performing at GST. I mean, Anson, let me know if you agree with this. I feel like seeing his GST, seeing his Prefontaine, adding it all up. I think he did well at UK championships or what have you, or
Hmm.
like in general. I'm like, yeah, you looking like a finalist.
He looks very solid.
He looks like a finalist.
Uh, he looks, which is prestigious, mind you,
Hmm.
considering the depth of the what's out there right now. We know he's going to be in the final. Um, it's just there's a place that we see some of these guys are able to go, that he hasn't gone yet.
Yeah.
And he's gonna need to go there for us to think that he's gonna go there. Yeah, he medaled. Um, he medaled in 2023, but it wasn't a sufficient enough performance for us to always think that he's gonna
Yeah.
be a medalist. And that's not a. We're just going off what we're seeing.
Yeah.
He's probably gonna build through the rounds and everything. It's just where he can go. Uh, I don't know about that. And then as far as Letsile, I've always said Letsile is very, very obviously being a medalist in the 100. He's obviously really good in the 100, but I don't see 9.7 when I look at him.
Yeah.
He
That's
just doesn't seem like
Yeah.
that style of runner. You'll
Yeah.
get some really fast times out of him. You'll get some consistent times, but 9.7, I don't see it.
Yeah.
I always say he should do the 2 and the 4, which is crazy because he's so good in the 100. But I think he can run 42 seconds.
Yeah, I think, well, I'd say he can hit the 9.8 on his best day, like 9.85. I think that's about where his range kind of lands him. Again, I'm thinking about these still win races. I can see
Mhm.
9.85. I can see 9.86. I can see 9.87. I see him on the same plane as Kenny. The difference is Kenny showed it to us this season, and the Thiele, we just be betting that he's just gonna find it when it's
Yeah.
time to find it. Kenny showed us at least it's there. That's why nobody's disrespecting him in terms of like the final. It's just that and that's why he's in this unique category where even in the 200, I mean, some other people have called him the Silver Surfer, and it's like, ugh. I mean, it's weird because it's like, man, you're so good, but in a sport where if you're not in first, he's the greatest example of if you're not in first place, it almost feels like you're in last. He's almost the greatest example of that in the context of people who in track. Like, if you think that's not true,
Yeah,
then how
yeah.
come we don't feel the way we should about Kenny?
It's disrespectful by
It
all of
is.
us. But but
I
respect
didn't
is
make the sport
you
like
got it.
this.
No, exactly. It's just the sport. It's just the sport, and he should understand that as a competitor. And if he's really ready for the throne, he would understand that until you have the throne, that this is what comes with it. That is the sport. That's what makes track and field track and field. That's what makes the sprints the sprints. Is
Yeah.
the thousandth of a second can change,
Everything.
totally change people's perspective on you. Totally change. Because imagine Kishane gets that thousandth last season, right? Are we as questionable about his finish?
Yeah, you're right.
Are we as
Mm.
questionable about how he handles pressure? Are
Yeah,
we as
No.
questionable as a
you're
No.
right.
thousandth? A
Literally.
thousandth.
Literally.
It totally changed. But that's the sport. But
Yep.
that's why there's nothing like the sprints, yo. There's nothing like that 100-meter strip. That's why it is what it is, and you just got to understand that when you're in the game. That if you haven't done it, then you haven't done it, and nothing else you do in that moment.
It's true. It's true.
Well,
It's
hey, hey, I think we close it on that note. Watch the throne. Because for now, we know who's sitting on it, and we know who's supposed to take it by force. And Oblique doesn't seem to care about any of it.
Good race. It's gonna be a really good race, man. I'm excited.
Tokyo 2025 World Championships. 200 meters for the men. I think in general, we can probably look at this as a three-man race. Now, we do have some other guys, in my opinion, who are in the conversation. Some guys who could spoil. I know Jamaican fans are going to be going crazy for a certain athlete who's been tearing it up this year. But overall, I think the majority of people can probably agree we're looking at some combination of Letsile, of Kenny, and Noah Lyles. Those are probably the top three, considering what we saw at the Olympics last year. Letsile winning gold, Kenny silver, Noah the bronze. The past three world championships with Noah winning the golds, Kenny getting silver a whole bunch of times. So overall, I think we can agree that those three are the top guys. But I don't know. Anson, what do you think? Do you think that's the solid three? Do you think that out of those three, there's a clear favorite? Or I don't know. Is there some spoilers we can look at?
I traded grass for gold. What's so funny? I find that
I,
disrespectful to
where,
I feel
Canada.
where
like you
where's on
practiced that before you said it, because I was waiting for you to
Jerome
crack.
Blake for gold.
Jerome
Jerome
Blake
Blake
could
with
make a
gold.
final,
I'm gonna
maybe.
tell you where Jerome Blake. He's okay.
He's run 19 on
I'm
it this
testing the
year.
water right now as far as you guys disrespect towards Canada,
No, it's not
trying to see
about
if I'm going to
Canada. I
finish this
mean, hey,
discussion or not.
I'm rooting for Jerome
I don't know if
Blake,
I want to finish the discussion anymore because of the
but
disrespect.
I
All
mean, he's
respect.
16th in the world right now
He's
on the
good. He's good.
leaderboards.
Okay, no, the top three. I think the top three is pretty clear. Um, so where it gets fun is how the top three
Yeah. Do we see like how does
finish.
that kind of unfold?
You know what I wanted to say about that top three real quick is that it's a tough decision, but if any of them decided to just focus on the 200, they guarantee themselves a gold medal. Say no was
Interesting.
like, I don't want to run the 100. He can't do that. But say he was to say that he's got the gold medalist in the 200 easily. If Kenny decided to do that, he's the gold medalist. If Lasile decided to do that, he's a
Mm.
gold medalist. And it's a tough it's a tough decision to pull out of that 100 though. That's the race, man. It's
Yeah.
the
None of them are
race.
pulling out. None of them are pulling out.
Yeah, but if you're being logical, out of those three in the 100, uh, well, Noah clearly is in contention for the win because he's won. He's proven it. Kenny has shown that he can get in the 9-7 range, so it's a tougher decision for him to pull out because this could be the one when he ran 9-7, right? But him and Letsile, if they made that decision to just focus on the two, then they're guaranteed to
Is
get
it
that gold.
is it that guaranteed? Because so I know people have looked and said, okay, after like specifically Noah, he's never run his fastest after, the 100. But in Budapest in 2023, he ran 19 point, I think it was 5.2 after the 100. Like that's not like only a few people in history have run faster than that. Even Let's has only run faster than that once. Like that's not a slouch time, and to do it after a double, that's not Usain Bolt level, of course, but like that's like really good. That's really good.
Yeah, but I think after a double, both of those guys well, Letsile and Kenny would run faster than their PRs thus far
Yeah,
in that 200 because Letsile ran his PR in
yeah.
Paris
In
last season,
Paris
right?
after the double, that's true.
Right. So I think he could have ran faster. I mean,
That's fair.
there's nothing data wise that would make me think that all those hundreds helped him to run faster in that 200 final. I just don't.
But do you
I
have
think a
data
lot of
that
those
it's
guys
hurting them as well? I
only
feel like
from only from experience. I mean, I ain't never been at that level. I just know after multiple rounds of sprints, you're holding on. You're
Mm,
holding on.
I feel like
Even
to some
guys that have
degree.
done it have said it.
it's
They've said
true.
it that after multiple rounds of the 100 and then going into those multiple rounds, there's it's all guts. I've spoken to a
Mm,
bunch of people about that. Whether it's
it's true.
Andre, whether it's Aaron, whether it's Obadeli Thompson, whether it's Adol Bolden, whether it's like that's your legs are gone. So,
I mean,
but
that
who's
might
going to
be
pull out of
true.
the 100?
Yeah, I mean
No
that
one's
might be
pulling out.
true emotionally, but I mean physically, I mean the clocks come back and tell us that, because I think there are different types of sprinters. Some people wear down, but like they hold on, and then you have those who they're fast till they're not. You see what I'm saying? Like they just kind of like hit a wall. So it's like their body might be, holding on. I mean, all that being said, all of them are doubling.
I know.
Yeah,
They're all doubling. So with that in mind, if they're a clear favorite, this I don't have any shame at all about. It's clearly Noah Lyles because he beat all of them.
yeah.
And
That was going to be my
like
question. Like,
he's
do
he's
we
a world
think?
leader and he beat the guys.
Yeah, do we think
And they were
Let's
supposed to
or
win.
Kenny is going to actually beat Noah Lyles? Because do we actually think that's going to happen?
I don't.
Yeah, I don't either.
I don't see it.
I think that Kenny has the better shot this season. Let's see,
Mm.
does Lasile look the same to you guys this season as last
Mm,
season?
not necessarily.
I think that he okay, he dealt with a lot last season when his mom
Yeah.
passed and you know, getting through that. But I do think that that had a huge effect on how well he performed last year.
Mm.
And mind you, his mom's always going to be in his heart. But I just think that the intensity of how it contributed to his performance isn't going to be the same it's going to be more so just him this year. And I don't know if we're going to see that same guy at the championships this year. He's going to be in contention. He's going to be competitive. He's going to be a medal threat. But I don't know if he's going to be the same guy. And that's something that's out of his control. Kenny, on the other hand, I think more so than ever is one thing I've gotten from Kenny in communication with him and communication with people about him is that he's got a chip on his shoulder that he's not recognized as one of the guys.
Mhm.
And that chip gets even bigger when you're actually getting faster. So I'm just getting faster and I'm still not in the conversation. What's seriously like, what is this? I think that's at an all-time high right now, and he has the most to prove right now. And obviously after what happened at USA's with the stare down and everything, and two, he's got some fire, right? And we're gonna see if that's gonna play into his into a better performance or worse performance because there's a lot of people that think that when Noah did that stare down at Area Knighton and pointed at him in that 200 that he ended his career in that one moment. So if we really look at it, I'm sure a lot of things have happened in Aria's career, but just off of what has happened, he hasn't been the same since that race. He hasn't. So it can also make you try too hard sometimes, or it can change the way you think. And I'm not saying that happened to Arian. All I'm saying is that we don't know if that's going to have a positive effect on Kenny or a negative effect.
I,
So
I mean, I don't mean the only way I know how to respond to it is I think it's of no impact because he wasn't going to win anyway. Like, and
I thought he was going to win, man.
I know I'm saying like at this point going forward, because the way I see it, Noah Lyles is the best 200-meter runner that we have on the men's side in the world and has been for a while. 2021 with a blip on the radar. I think a bunch of things affected him. He just didn't perform well, but he wasn't this Noah Lyles yet. He wasn't. He was emerging. He had just won a world championship. Then they had a season with no championship, like, his 200 world from 2019, which, that was the first one. And that was still when we were kind of like in what I call the down zone, like kind of like that zone where we had just lost Usain in the sport and we were kind of figuring out what's next. And remember, Ramil Guliev was winning 200 at one point.
Right.
We were coming from there. No shade to him, but I said what I said. Like
Shade. Definitely
that's where we
shade.
were.
Definitely shade.
That's where we were. Like
Yep.
it counts, but I mean, again, I mean, I'll leave it there. So now, I think it's been so consistent that Noah's the best 200-meter runner in the world. It's just that this year it felt like if y'all ever had a chance to get him, this was the time. And remember, the movie for the 100 and movie for the 200 for Noah ain't the same movie. In the 200, that one is
Yeah.
just, he is who you remember the quote from Dennis Green, they are who we thought they were? I think it was Dennis
Yeah.
Green who
Mm.
said, like, they are who we thought they were. Guess what? He is who we thought he is. Because he goes, because Lefile was again, it was crazy. Lefile is the world leader. And he's like, oh, I'm going to open my season against you. Beats them
Yeah, it's
and run them
crazy.
down. And then it's like, oh, Kenny just came off the like, all this Grand Slam success, swept the whole thing, just running all over everybody. And he's like, you know what? I'm gonna run the
Yeah, it's
USA's, and I'm gonna run it not because I have to, but because I want to. And I'm gonna beat
Yo,
you anyway.
we gotta give Noah some credit, because in
yeah.
every race that he's been in, he's gone against all the hitters, all the people that people think can beat him. He didn't win all the time in the 100, but he still went. And
Hmm.
he got a feel for them. If I was really serious about winning, right, I'd want to know what people are bringing. So, that's one of the guys. Okay, I want to race him. Oh, that's another guy. I want to race him. And you can see, especially the 200, he doesn't even look sharp. All he's doing
Yeah,
is just, it's like
It's
he'll,
true.
he'll, he'll, you know what I'm saying? He'll plot on them around the corner and then he'll tap into them and then he'll just do more and he'll leave them. In the 100, I think it's a similar kind of thing where he'll get a sense of what they can do. And in his best races, that's exactly what it seems like. What he's doing is like he'll keep you in reach, tap into what you have, and then do more. And then he'll get by you.
Yeah.
This guy is just he's I never really I study him a little bit more in a different way now, and I'm seeing this. Like this guy is he's not shying away from people. And
Mhm.
I'd given him flack in the past for only running one Diamond League last year. Yeah, he may have had his reasons, but what I'm seeing now is, oh, they're there, well, I'm going there. Oh, they're there,
Yeah.
well, I'm going there. And I can't say that I see that
Yeah.
from many other people. So
No.
in the 200, he's just tapping into those guys and just leaving them. He doesn't even
I,
look sharp, man.
I have an interesting question to throw to everybody then, from what you just said. Because we agree, so far, we're all in agreement that Noah Lyles is technically the best 200-meter runner in the world. And even this year, he looks like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he has
Mhm.
the world leading spot. He beat the guys who are supposed to be the guys. He's undefeated, am I right, in the 200? So yeah,
Yes.
he that's
Yeah.
fair. What would it take to win this 200? Like, can we do on the board? Let's say what do we think it's going to actually take in terms of just, from a time perspective to win this one? Because I think that's the only way I can see someone beating him is if we can first figure out what's the target and then, okay, do we think Kenny can hit that target? Because I do want to like at least have that side of it of like, could Kenny win? But like not just Kenny. If I say Kenny versus no, I'm taking no every time. So I got to have another way to
Yeah.
get to I have to find my way to that point coming from a different angle.
What's
In
Kenny's season best?
1967, I think.
Yeah,
That's this
1967.
season.
Because
Yeah,
that's the
that's this
loss to
season.
Noah at
Yeah, his
USA.
personal best is like 19.5 something from last year. I think five
Okay.
seven.
And he
But
ran a
Okay.
windy 19.4 years ago.
yeah, from back in the day. But in my opinion,
Okay.
for this year, like in the 200, for someone to take down Noah, I actually don't even care about the time because Noah is fat. Noah is faster than all of them. Like he's proven. Not only has he proven he can run faster with his 19.31, he's run 19.4 a couple times. So like he's proven time wise. I think it will take Noah truly making a mistake for someone to beat him out. That's the only way I actually see it. Like whether that is last year, of course he got COVID, or 2021 he was dealing with mental health issues and all these things. Like it'll take something like that for someone to actually take him down in this race. Because if someone runs, let's say Letsile runs 19.41, Noah is going to figure out a way to run 19.40. If Kenny runs
Right.
19.39, Noah's going to figure out a way to run 19.38 or
That's what
37.
I'm saying, man.
Like he just controls in the 200 for me, Noah is the guy. He controls a race in a way that like other athletes, I'll be completely honest. Outside of Usain Bolt, I think Noah has a way of controlling the race that no other athlete in at least recent history, even to me, to a degree, better than Michael Johnson. I think Noah has been able to assert his dominance in the 200. I just can't. I think he has to make a mistake for someone to win gold in Tokyo.
You know how you can beat him? You can beat him. You can beat him in the semis. By that I mean if you make sure to get ahead of him to the line in the semis, you'll mess up his lane draw. Now, if he's lane four or less, or five or less, you got a shot. You got a shot if he's in lane four or three somehow. And if you get that second qualifying position, you get a second qualifying lane. And I've worked this out already. You could end up in five or less. The preferred lanes are six, six, no, five, six, seven, six, seven, six, seven, five.
Something like that, yeah.
Now, if he ends up in one of those second not non-preferred lanes, then you got a shot because a lot of his faster performances are in those outside lanes.
It's true, but even well, yeah, I probably do agree. If he's on
I
the
like have we
inside,
ever seen him? Have we ever seen him win from being inside or from being in an inside lane in a big race? We haven't.
the
It was
He's
Tokyo.
just
closest,
It
always
was
been
Tokyo.
faster.
He ended up
Like even
coming in
at
third.
USA,
Exactly.
he
yeah,
was faster in the heats. Like in the qualifier to the final, he was the fastest qualifier to that
yeah,
final.
he's
So
always gonna
Right.
like
be.
he didn't just win the race. Like he was better in that last round.
Yeah,
Right.
I was only gonna say in 2019 he was. I just looked it up. He was in lane five at the World Champs there, and if you remember, he was actually pretty far behind. He was like fourth coming off the curve or something,
And then just
but
pulled away. Yeah.
like Noah knows how to, and
Yeah.
it's like his composure down the home straight, where you can look at Letsile trying to lean a little bit too early. Noah is solely focused, and even with the race with Kenny at USA, is like he knows, like it's almost like he knows his body well enough where okay, I'm like right next to him, and I know he's not going to be able to do anything. So I'm going to turn around and look at him while we have 2 meters left or 3 meters left. Like he knows how much to assert to make sure that he can win a race. It's just, it's hard for me to see. It can happen. Kenny B, let's see that they can win, but I just can't.
They'd
I
have
don't know.
to, but Kenny showed us the cards already, and that's why the stare down. It's not just a stare down. We have to remember that the stare down came after having a clear lead and getting ran down.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
why. See, that's the
It
other
was very
half.
clear.
It was
very
like
It's
clear.
like
because it
very,
was a gap. Like
Yeah.
it was
yeah.
like 'cause again, I remember being at 110, 120, and I'm like, Kenny might hold on and get this one. And then about 150, I'm like, oh man, he's coming. And then he gets to the line, and we're like, oh, what just happened? Like, what did we just witness?
But
Like the
No,
whole
he's
like
used
the
to it.
script unfolding.
Yeah.
And I think Kenny knew he was coming to some degree, and he was like, okay, it's like you get to this point where you're like you're trying to get to the line and like trying to see if you can bring it closer to you.
Yeah.
And I think that's where the race unravels for essentially everyone else in the world. I mean, I'm looking at the rest of the leaderboards and I'm like, okay, are there any? Okay, let's talk about, well, I guess at this point, like if there ever was the only medal that's up for grabs might be bronze, meaning somebody messed up, more or less, right? And you're trying to be that guy who sneaks in there. I mean, Brian Lavelle on
Yes.
talent could get it
Well, yeah, based off the clock, yeah.
because he
But
ran, yeah, he ran
where do you
fast.
run
He,
that 19.6?
In Hungary,
yeah,
Continental Tour in
Right.
Hungary.
it was a negative
Right.
point four. Win factors don't mean as much to me on 200s, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah. What lane did Noah have in Doha? Again, you just mentioned in
He had lane
2019.
5 in Doha. That
Okay.
was when
Okay.
Adam Jamili
Jamili
was
was out
like
there
he was
and
out there and
Andre
then
was
he
out there.
Andre was out there and he
Yeah.
faded. No, Noah's different. Noah's different.
Yeah, it's got to be lane 4 or less. So he's proven in lane 5. It's got
Yeah,
to be
because
lane
Yeah.
4 or less. I don't know how it's going to happen.
when you go down the 200 list after what we just the names we just gave, it's like there's a gap. Like there's a clear gap in talent where I mean Courtney Lindsay, shout out to you. Robert Gregory, shout out to you as well. They very well
Hmm.
should be in this final. But
Yeah, probably. Yeah, probably.
I mean, they're just not those
Ogando?
two guys.
Ogando
Ogando,
in the final.
Ogando, I don't mean to pick on him. It's just like I didn't realize on World Athletics that they have this graphic where they do like matchups between you and another athlete. So I looked
Mhm.
at
Mhm.
Ogando's matchup with Noah Lyles. It was the first thing that
Oh
popped
yeah,
up,
no,
and he was
no.
0 and 9.
Yeah.
You didn't know the matchup feature?
Like I found it out like
It's the
in the
best
last few
feature on the
months.
site, man.
Yeah. So
The
like
head to heads, man.
yeah. So like
That's
I saw he was 0 for
big them
9.
up for
Like
that. I give them a lot of flack for stuff, but
yeah,
that's wicked,
Yeah.
yo.
yeah. So like once because what that's there, I was like, oh yeah, like 0 for 9.
Yeah, no, no, no.
At that
Yeah,
point, like
yeah.
when we talking rounds, all that, I'm like,
Yeah, no, he's not. No, no.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
if
you gotta try and get him in the first round
he'll
or in
be
the
in the
semi.
final.
You got to
Ogando
get
will
him in
be in
bad
the
Yeah, yeah.
final.
lanes. Yeah, but you got to get Noah in bad lanes somehow. That's the
Somehow.
only way, man.
That's gonna be hard
So
to do.
okay, so
Yeah,
let's quickly talk Brian Lavelle, where okay, he's run 19.69. He ran a windy, like I was thinking it's plus 2.5, 19.79. So he has, and he's run like sub 20 a couple times even last year as well. Last year he made the Olympic Games in the semifinals. That was his first ever global champs. Do we think that he can either replicate his 1969 or go a little bit faster to potentially spoil if one of these guys actually slips up? Or do we think that was the end of the road and it's like that was your cap for this year? Mm. He
you
also
know,
ran 9.82 in the 100, so he has talent.
right. You know, I was gonna make a crazy take when I was thinking of my predictions earlier this like, a couple weeks ago, and I was thinking about my predictions, and I was gonna really double down on that not running the 100 theory and say that he could potentially win because he's not running the 100. I've backed off of that, mind you. I made that clear.
I'm glad
But
you did. That was crazy.
but 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 could it play a factor? Maybe. I don't know.
I don't think
Maybe.
so. Not for him.
Think about this. Last year, Noah Lyles did the double. He got COVID. He ran 19.70 seconds in that 200
Yeah.
meter final. So you're like Brian Lavelle has to essentially run another personal best to match what Noah did on his worst day.
Yeah,
Like,
it's not it's gonna be really tough. It's gonna be really tough.
Yeah, like
You'd obviously have to PR. Um Is he rounding into PR shape potentially, or have we seen what he has?
Hey, I'm going back to what I said before, man. How you shoot in the last 2 minutes in the fourth quarter of a playoff game is not how you shoot in the second quarter. And for track purposes, I don't know if I have anywhere near enough evidence on Brian Lavelle to say that he can shoot well enough in the clutch time.
We don't have the evidence. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah,
But the
yeah.
thing is,
We
like,
don't.
we have the evidence, and it was last year, and he wasn't in the final. So that is evidence that, like,
Yeah, well, he was young. He was young.
Yeah,
I'll
so
but
give
he
come
was,
him.
on,
He was like
man.
I hear
really
that.
young.
I
Come
hear that.
on.
But
He was.
okay,
He just came out of high school like a year before
that's
that or something.
fair. But what, so, okay, so before you say that, when Arian Knighton was young, what did he do?
Arion is like like that's different. He was
But what? But I'm
Noah,
asking because we
Arion was
made a
running.
point, which is
he
like
was
he
on
was young,
he was
and then
on
we went.
pace until Noah got into that 100 in the USA's and
Oh,
pointed at him.
you made it to 200.
He
Yeah,
derailed everything. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, the whole point is because Arian Knighton, I made the comment last year going to the games, like or coming off of it. I was like, okay, 2021, where was he? He was fourth. You rocket past 3 years later, and where was he? In the exact same place. We like to project out and say people are going to do all these things. And in reality, sometimes there's just a pecking order. And for the most part, you just kind of are where you are because hard work can only beat talent when talent ain't working hard. So we say we don't have enough data, and I guess that might be true, but he's young, but he ain't that young because Arian Knighton was 17, and then that man was 18,
Yo,
Arion
and
is
then
like
that man was
what
19.
happened with Ariad though? This is
we
off topic, but I don't understand.
we gotta. In my opinion, I give Arion a lot of credit because considering how young he is, and he has obviously finished fourth at the Olympics twice, but he has a world championship silver and bronze. Like forget young people. Like a lot of people through history don't have that. I actually think. I think
It's really true.
I
The
think the
standard we expect.
expectations, yeah,
Yeah.
we expected him to be essentially the next Usain Bolt. He ran 19.4 when he was like super, super young. I think the expectations just didn't match up to what what he produced, but he still
Right.
produced like all
Yeah, he's
time
done his thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Okay.
I give
Okay.
him a lot of credit. I give him a lot of credit. But
Yeah, and
That's the
this year
game
he was
though.
hurt.
We always
He
say
was
this.
hurt. He
That's
was
the
hurt
game.
this year at USA,
yeah,
but he
this year
pulled
he
up
just dealt
anyway.
with injury. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But so before I think we kind of like looked at the field, shout out to a couple other guys, but I think we could say Noah is like the guy. But between let's see like Kenny, who do we think has the edge if we were to say one of them is like a step above either? And everyone's doing a double. So let's see like Kenny is let's see like maybe better than Kenny, or is Kenny maybe have the edge? Are we mm,
I vote Kenny.
I'm going with Kenny.
oh
I'm going with Kenny
Kenny not
because
letting two people beat him. I'll tell you that much. He ain't gonna let two people beat him.
yeah, he's won so much this year, man. It's you just to come third now. He hasn't been well aside from in Silesia. Um,
that was 100.
Yeah.
yeah, that was 100 though. That was 100 though.
Yeah.
As far as the 200, he's dominated every 200 he's been in except for the one that he lost to Noah. So to come third all of a sudden, I know it's Let's
And
Sile,
he
but
ran a 200 with Brian Lavelle, and Brian Lavelle was not all that close.
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Like
And
for competitive purposes,
Yeah.
it's not like they
right.
didn't. It's not like they didn't race.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've seen
Yeah.
Courtney Lindsay really close to Let's Sile on a couple of occasions.
That's
So
fair. That's fair. I'll say I think I have Letsile slightly above Kenny, which is crazy to a degree.
Wow, didn't see
But
that.
the way I look at it is what has Letsile done relative to Noah, where he was relatively close. Like he's held his own for the most part. Now Kenny also has held his own at USA's, but I also look at what happened last year at the Olympics, where Letsile he was like I don't even know. I think he was like fifth or sixth or something in the 100, but then in the 200 he stepped up drastically. Like I just feel like the 200 is his true event. Probably same thing with Kenny as well, but like I just feel like Sile is gonna be a step above Kenny. Yeah, I don't know.
okay. Well,
Close though.
Well, I mean, hey, we could say a whole bunch of other names, but I feel like it all comes back to those three.
it's
And
yeah.
I mean, hey, I mean, Noah's been sitting on that throne for a while.
Time wise, what do you guys think we're looking at though?
I don't even know.
19.5.
5, huh?
19.5
Yeah.
something. That's what I think. I
Probably,
don't
yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think we're looking at a 19-4, 19-3 year. Not after
yeah,
all the setbacks and dips and things that we've seen from athletes. Like, Letsile and Noah both had things that didn't go ideally. And then you mentioned all the rounds. And, that would still put Kenny right up there with whatever he's ever done, win legal in his career. So I'd say 19-5.
yeah. I'm probably around there. Yeah, I'd love to be wrong, but like I don't know. Are you thinking different, Anson?
No, I'm thinking 19.5, but if we're thinking 19.5, then that could be anybody's race. Because do I think Kenny can run 19.5? I do. Do I
Yeah,
think
but
that Sile can? He has.
Yeah, but
So if
that's
it's a
on the clock,
19.5 race,
yes. But I feel like Noah be running that last 75. Like as
yeah,
you
it's
said
just
yourself, he's so measured. The 200 is
it's
different,
the
where
racing
it
coming down to
feels
racing.
like for him, it's almost like he knows exactly how much real estate he has and what he needs to do in that real estate to get that edge. It be feeling like other people be trying to win, and it feel like he be knowing he's gonna win. Like he's the only guy I know who can run essentially like, half a body length ahead of you and do it like he's ahead by a mile.
Right.
Because in his mind, he's like, "Oh, you're not beating me. Like
Mm.
I just know you're not beating me." So that's why
Yeah,
the clock, I wouldn't say that makes it anybody's race. It just makes it I mean, the real question is, did you have him and does he chase you down? Because remember, we've seen Noah come off the turn ahead a lot in his career. That
yeah.
hasn't been this season. And that's
Mm-mm.
why it don't be feeling like, you know, how I put it, yeah, I'll leave it alone. Noah got it. And
No, I got it.
unless he gonna have to give it up. That's what I would say.
Yeah,
Noah has it and he's gonna have to give it up. And unfortunately, the other two guys, I think the other two guys know that.
yeah, yeah. I
They don't want
think.
to admit it, but I think that that's something they're battling because when you lose the way that they lost, in Latile's situation, it was twice.
Yeah.
Like
You
at
guys
some
remember
point,
when Noah said no one cares about the 200?
yeah, it's the
Oh,
bonus medal.
I guess that do you think he still thinks like that, or do you think that that was just
Oh
some
yeah, of
residue?
course.
In America,
Because
nobody cares.
yeah, if Noah didn't believe that, or if he thought like, oh no, that was just a joke or whatever, he would have dropped out the 100. Because I've heard him recently even say like, oh, he wants the 200-meter world record. If he really wants that, he would drop out the 100. But
Exactly.
he realizes that sure, the 200 is also important, but like to him and to the world, like no one cares. Like no one
Nobody
cares.
even knows
Bingo.
when he's running the 200. Like,
Bingo. The world may not care about the 200, but Noah definitely does.
Yeah, he does.
So,
Like think of this. Noah is probably like extremely disappointed that he has two Olympic bronze medals from in the 200.
yeah,
But the world, I don't even know if the world truly knows that. The world knows him as an Olympic 100-meter gold
yeah,
medalist. That's what it is.
that's only a Noah problem. That's
Yeah,
only and
yeah,
some track enthusiasts may point
of
that out.
course.
But no, the world doesn't care. He got the one that mattered. But for him, that's nagging him because he's
Yeah,
supposed to be the guy. You're the
yeah,
guy? Okay. How many Olympics
yeah.
have you won?
yeah,
You haven't. And that's bunning him. That's definitely bunning him with the type of competitor he is.
yeah.
So
Hey.
it doesn't matter if no one cares about it. Noah, you do.
Well, we about to World Championships coming. The women's 100-meter dash has been an interesting discussion because we have an Olympic gold medalist who has looked almost unbeatable. But then again, I say almost because Melissa Jefferson-Wooden decided that bronze is not the color that she likes anymore. And she has been dominating this entire season, especially when it comes to the 100, because we'll get to the 200 in a moment. So, for that reason, when we talk about the medals, because yes, Sha'Carri Richardson, reigning world champion, she's going to be back, and we're definitely going to get into it. But you got to start at the top. So, how do we see this all shaking out? Because it feels to me like we can all agree gold and silver are essentially two people facing off, and then bronze is wide open. So, I mean, Anson, talk to me. I mean, where does it sit for you?
Well, you hear a lot of talk about the times in Eugene, and the times in Eugene are really fast all the time, and they are. And Melissa Jefferson ran really fast in Eugene. She ran 1067,
6'5", 10.65
1065
Eugene.
in
Yep.
Eugene. But she's running 1060s everywhere, man. Like she ran 10.6. You guys are gonna have to help me because you guys are really good with stuff like this. She ran 10.6
In
in
Poland.
Poland, in
Yep.
Silesia. And she also ran
She
uh
ran 10.7 in Brussels, which was kind of chilly. That was where like Shelly, Sha'Carri,
right.
like
She was
yeah,
gone. She
Negative
was
point
gone.
two. Negative
She
point
was
two
gone.
win.
So she
yeah,
ran 10.7 in Brussels where there wasn't really many fast times in that competition.
yeah.
And we also saw she ran a windy 10.6 earlier in the season during Grand Slam. So she's run a lot of 10.6s, right? And it's not only because of one track. She can do it. I think that when you're putting those kind of numbers up, you get on a fast track in some really good conditions in the championships. Technically, you have the capabilities of getting in the 10.5 range. And we're talking capabilities, right? She's the only woman in the field that I see that has that right now. Um, Julien is obviously a champion, being an Olympic champion, and I think that that plays a factor in how you perform at future championships. Uh, but if we're going strictly off of what the capabilities are, I only see Melissa Jefferson-Wooden with the capabilities of getting to that 10.5 range. And because of that, and because of how consistent she's been, and because she's been running twos, so I know she's going to be strong through the rounds, I think this is her championship to lose, believe it or not. Not coming in as the defending Olympic champion like Julien Alfred, but she did get a bronze, and she's been putting up the best numbers. And I do believe that she's gonna get that gold medal in that 100.
Well, so I basically agree with all that. It's actually kind of crazy how she's like stepped up. Like like this has been. I think we'll look back at this as one of the most legendary seasons for a woman in the 100 meters. But my question about Julian though is she hasn't had to worry about a trials. Melissa had to be ready for trials. Whether we like it or not, no matter how good her season was going, she had to make sure she was 100% ready for trials. Does that or did that factor into her running 10-6 there and then still kind of like maintaining that? I still think she's the favorite for gold, but Julian, her sole focus has been the world champs. She didn't have to peak for literally anything. After the Olympic Games last year, she won the gold medal. She went on to win the silver, and the only date on her calendar after that was the Tokyo World Championships this year. I don't
So you're
know.
basically saying she's building into the championships as opposed to Melissa, who maybe holding on. That's what
Yeah,
he's.
yeah. I think she could. She can
That's a
potentially
very
match
fair
Olympic.
point.
I don't know. I
It's a
don't
very
know.
fair point. And the thing is she's a champion, man. That's a factor. It's a factor. But I just sometimes when someone's on, they're just on. You can
It's
see it.
true.
And I just and she beat when she beat Julian.
Yeah,
You would think that Julian would may have an advantage in the second half of the race, but that's not how the race played out. She actually pulled away from Julian
yeah.
slightly, but still pulled away and held her off easily. It wasn't like Julian was closing on her. I think that's a confidence booster.
Yeah.
I gotta say this because I looked up. I clicked back to. I wanted to see every race Melissa ran this season. So if you throw out her Grand Slam track opener, which she won, but it was 11 something. After that, she has not run slower than 1086 in any Open 100 this entire season.
That's crazy. And those
10,
headwinds were crazy in
yeah,
Jamaica, by the
that's the
way.
next thing. Yeah,
Yeah.
she'd run into negative headwinds. I
Mhm.
mean, she had one wind assisted time, but she'd run into negative headwinds. She'd run like it's not like she's getting great conditions, quote unquote, to like even her 1065. I mean, for what they gave us on a wind gauge, that was a positive point four. That wasn't what the men did in their 100-meter
Mm.
final, where they went all the way up to the limit of allowable for the most part. Like we're at a point where every race she has run is at a quality where I'm don't have to worry about like she's the only one who's just literally the gun goes off and she does training runs now until the final goes off, and then the final is a coronation. The only thing she has to do is run the final and take the crown. And yes, I do think that the way I said it so far is Julian Alfred is there to ensure that Melissa has to run her best in that final. Like
That's
she
a good
can't
point.
underachieve. However, it's hard because when I say what the hard part is trying to pick against someone where it's almost like I'm looking for excuses to not take her, and I keep running out of them at this point.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Where it's like you would say, okay, let's see, she's gonna have to go, do it again. And I'm watching these rounds, and I'm like, oh, maybe she's gonna run out of steam. And it's like, okay, now she goes in a diamond league. Maybe she with the travel and like I'm trying to keep making excuses, and that's why I said I'm not gonna pretend anymore. But I'm gonna pause here. Look, Melissa, she's shown us that it's her gold medal to lose. I think we're there.
Hmm.
Julian is the only person, like if I said it last year, and I'm gonna say it again, the exact same quote, but for two different reasons. The only woman on the planet who can stop America from taking home this gold is going to be Julian Alfred. I really believe that, especially once we knew that the Jamaican ladies were out. So, with that in mind, where does Sha'Carri now fit? Maybe not when it comes to gold and silver. I think we've agreed, but she's still the reigning world champion, and you can't just ignore that part. So, like, where is she now in the discussion?
She's not gonna medal.
Yeah, nah.
She's not gonna
Nah.
medal. And if she was to medal, this would be one of the most remarkable bronze medalists in the history of women's sprints because she hasn't shown form. If you believe that she's gonna medal, it would be strictly off of the fact that you really like her, and she's very likable. But um, and to be honest, my bronze medal pick may come across like that too. We'll get to that in a second. But as far as her, I don't see I don't I'm not seeing any glimmers of confidence for one, and I haven't really seen a glimmer of performance where I'm thinking she can medal. Now her last race was her best race. She ran
Yeah.
11:06,
Yeah. In
Yeah,
Brussels.
11:05. Yeah.
ran 11:05 in Brussels, which is season best.
And she looked
And
good in like the second half of the
yeah,
race. Like she looked good execution wise.
yeah. But and another thing is she has her scope on Melissa every day. They train together, so that's been playing in her favor as far as knowing where she's at. But I don't believe she's gonna I don't believe she's gonna medal. And I'll even say this: if she's not in contention to medal, she'll know. She'll know because she's done it before, and she'll know how close she is to Melissa and where she would finish, in comparison with her. If she's not in medal shape, I don't know if she'll run. I
Wait,
don't know.
you think you think like she'll run the heats and then pull out if she thinks she's
No,
not
I don't even know if she would. I don't even know if she would compete. She's had a rough season. She's been dealing with a lot.
interesting.
She's been dealing with a lot of just life things on top of some injury stuff. It's been rough. It's been a rough season. And sometimes when you get to the championships, you got to make a tough decision
Interesting.
to say, look, I'm not, I haven't been able to prepare the way I usually have. I'm a world champion. I've done this. I know the route that I had to go through and that I have gone through to be on the top of the podium and to be at my best. This has been a rough season. And because of this, I don't want to go. I don't think I don't want to put myself into the fray right now because I'm not at my best. I wouldn't be surprised if that happened because it it really doesn't look like she's going to medal right now. And yeah, that bronze is up for grabs, but even still, a lot of these women haven't been dealing with anything remotely close to what she's been dealing with all season. So don't be surprised if she doesn't run, man.
I mean, what you just said, I mean, it's not it sounds like a bold take, but I'll say this much. there's two ways to approach track and field. And when it comes to the competitive component of what I've seen from Sha'Carri in the past, thinking back to the Diamond League final, think Sha'Carri runs for the gold, she runs for the win. And when the win doesn't feel attainable, I think that's part of what we've been watching in these races earlier this season as well. That like she kind of takes her foot off the gas because fourth, fifth, and sixth don't matter to her. The thing about Sha'Carri, and the real problem, and this is when I say problem, it's less about her and more about the world around her. Sha'Carri got the crown, and I mean like in America, because I'm speaking from that context, where like she built up this reputation, and that reputation was the fastest woman, and she had that reputation before she actually had earned anything. Like she had won Olympic trials, didn't go to the games, but like she became a thing without even going to the games. I don't know if there's ever been a woman, an athlete in track and field who could say they became as big as she got without actually going to the games.
Yeah, not on that
So,
scale.
so now that that happened, and then it's like,
Like any games, not our championships.
yeah,
She had been to anything.
yeah,
Yeah,
Yeah.
no,
but then
no.
here's the funny thing, because 2022 was a down year, like for her, she performed poorly, like the season just crashed and burned in terms of like performance, and then 2023, she wins the world. Like that actually happened. Like she goes out and wins the world. So then when that is like the next piece of the story, it's like that like cemented the expectation because like it's crazy. Like people thought she was the fastest even when she wasn't. They thought she was the best when she wasn't, and then she won the world. So from that point
And
on,
she
it's like,
actually won when she was being doubted.
yeah,
A lot of people didn't think she was going to win that
Mm.
year.
yeah. But I
When
mean,
she
like
was
the
less of a
American,
favorite.
yeah. But I think like, I mean, at the end of the day, she's American. Like, yeah, you like track people might be thinking that, but
Right.
like again, you gotta
Oh, but the
understand,
general public would have
yeah,
been like, yeah, she's gonna win.
like
You're right. Yep.
because he was what was the show that was discussing, it was what was the podcast, it wasn't Joe Budden, it was like um yeah,
Where
like
they were talking about her.
yeah, because like they were
Was
talking
it
about
nightcap?
her and Christian, and like it wasn't Nightcap, but it's not important. I mean I even talked about it on my channel, it just escaped me. Oh, the Breakfast Club. And when they were
Oh,
Okay.
Breakfast
discussing it,
Club.
this is where you have to understand where Americans are starting the negotiations. The Breakfast Club was not even aware. Like when I say not aware, they thought that Sha'Carri Richardson is faster than Christian Coleman, to the point where
Oh, I remember that.
they Googled
Mhm.
it. They were looking at the times. Then they were like, "Oh, well, Christian Coleman did run the fastest time in the world in 2023 for a man." Like people's understanding of track is so
Right.
disjointed. Like this is where the
Right.
American public is started. Because see, Sha'Carri is a name that's relevant to the American public. That's important.
Right.
She broke through where she's not just a track person.
Right.
But that's what I'm saying. Like when she runs, she's defending a reputation. She's not actually running
Exactly.
for medals because she already has more
So you have to take
reputation
that
than a
into
medal
account,
can get
man.
her. The medal actually is just like holding on to the rep, if that makes sense. They already think I'm the fastest. All I can do is lose and mess it up.
Right. And
Yeah.
she's a brand, man, and
Yeah.
she's been losing more than she probably would have liked to have been losing so far this year. But no one, the general public isn't going to see that. Like you're lucky in track and field to kind of be able to hide through some losses in the earlier races because you, no one's watching the Diamond League like that. You show up at the championships, people think you win all the time if
Yeah.
you win.
Yeah.
So she knows that. Her handlers know that. I mean, she's a brand. She got to take a lot of other things into account here. So if she doesn't run, I wouldn't be surprised at all.
That's fair. That's fair. I will say, because yeah, we have a couple of the names. I'd be interested in our bronze. I will say after what she did in Brussels, I felt that gave me at least confidence that like, assuming she of course goes through, that she can make the final. Because before then, I was like not even sure if there was a question on like, okay, is she informed to make the final at Worlds?
Right, right.
So at least that gave me a little confidence. But I am curious, who else do we think? Like, who is in the actual bronze medal conversation? Because you have everyone from Sharika Jackson, you have Dean Asher Smith, you have, Tina Clayton, you have Marie Jose Talu Smith, you have Kayla White. Like, you have a
Shelly Ann Fraser Price.
Shelly and Fraser Price. Wait, okay.
Do you want to
Are
hear my
you
theory? Okay, so this is going to fall into, oh, well, you're picking somebody like. Let me just say something. If I was Shelly Ann Fraser Price and I'm 37, I would say to myself, look, all I can do is build towards the championships. That's it. So I'm not preparing for anything. I'm not preparing for Jamaican trials. I'm not preparing for none of that. I'm building towards the championships because I'm gonna have one bow wow. I'm gonna have one, right? So if I don't make the team, I'm just not supposed to go. So I'm building through the championships. She squeaked through because Tia Clayton got
Hmm.
injured. She wouldn't have been on that team, and I think she would have been fine with retiring in Jamaica on Jamaican soil, just like that. But after she got through the trials, I was thinking to myself, I think she's building towards that one goal, and now she got through that. She that's attainable to be ready for one championships at this age, just one. Everyone that gets in their late 30s, mid late 30s, they still got all their power. They still got some fast twitch left. It's just recovery. That's all it is. You can get one, and I think that one could be the championships, and she can get on the podium to get that bronze. And
Hmm.
she's done it. She's done it.
You okay? You think she's gonna take down like Tina Clayton, who like beat her not only at Jamaican trials, but like at a couple other races after that as well. Like
I think she
even
still views her as a child. I think it's at the end of the day, she still views her as a child. Like you're running fast, yeah, but you've done nothing close to what I've done in my career. Nothing. We're
it's
not
fair.
even. It's not even close what I've done to what you're trying to do right now. It's this is championship time, It's time. It's time to now. It's my time. Sharika has she's not healthy as far as what I've heard.
Hmm.
Um, so you're looking at names like Kayla White and Mary Jose Talu and yo, man, she can get there. I think she can get up there for that bronze, man. I
She
think
can.
she can get up there.
I am curious what you think, Rob. I will say that sentimentally, I want Shelley-Ann to win a gold and end her career. Like she's one of the reasons
A
I
gold would
even.
be crazy.
I mean, I'm saying sentimentally, I want that to happen. It's not
That's
going to happen.
crazy
It's
sentiments. A gold would be crazy. You're hoping for false starts and you
I
want people to
mean,
fall and stuff.
listen,
But
that's what
but man,
I personally want, just because
yeah,
Shelly is literally one of the reasons
she
I
deserves it.
follow track and field. But like I just unfortunately I can't see her on the podium. But Coach Ron, I wonder what you think when in this bronze medal conversation.
I'm gonna say because there's a few things that go up in the air. Because the way I assessed it was, I'm gonna pick a name, and the name I'm gonna give right now is I keep landing on Marie Jose Talu Smith.
I'm with you, but
That's
I
why
want
I
to
keep
hear.
landing on bronze, and I keep landing there because I feel like when the dust settles, because I've watched her be competitive now multiple times in races, like to see where she looks in relationship to Melissa. Because I'll be looking at these fields, like you go back to Prefontaine, you see the Melissa and Julien in front, and then look for who is in third, because there's a gap. And historically, bronze is the medal that like it falls to you because you don't have to be with them to get bronze. So she just got to beat the rest of the field. Like there's a bunch of names that we could say, and there's a bunch of reasons why we might say it. But if Sharika's not going to be able to run like herself, we don't know whether she will or she won't. I mean, we know we haven't seen her that much as of late, and there are reasons for that. Um, we have Sha'Carri, which is a huge question mark, where I feel like she'd be so hot and cold. So like, and she's had cold seasons, and this might be just one of those cold seasons. We're waiting for it to turn hot, and I don't see a microwave anywhere near in sight. So if that's the case, then you move them off, and Shelly Ann Fraser Price, like, yeah, that's there. But like, I've seen Mauricio de Talu Smith in these races. I've seen her be in that gap and be at the top of the gap enough times to be like, okay, if I had to pick a name right now, I could do it. Yes, it could be Tina Clayton. That's the other logical choice. But that logical choice is also betting on first global championships, run a bunch of rounds. You're betting on that.
Hmm.
And that's why and I get it, there's rounds and so on, but like Kayla White, PT Terry, I feel like they should be in the final. They should. but in the final and medal ain't the same thing. It's just that like there's such a drop off right now when it comes to the women's 100 and even for that matter in the 200. Like the drop off is where you have like the real medal contention and then everybody else. And oftentimes bronze can just fall to you.
Mhm.
And remember, Sha'Carri was supposed to be in that top group, but she's not.
Right.
So that's the only reason why bronze is falling now. It's falling
Yeah.
because somebody who was supposed to be elevated isn't elevated. Because Melissa's elevated. And last year, we didn't feel like she was elevated. We just thought she got the bronze when it fell.
Right.
That's kind of how
Mm.
we looked at her. And she was proving like, actually, I was better than them. And I have more. So it's like, okay, so
Yeah.
there it is. So that's why I have to kind of just say, like,
Yeah.
I feel she's the one I feel most confident in, if it makes sense, in terms of like when the gun goes off in that championship, or what are we going to get from you?
Yeah. I'll
And
say
she,
to
yeah,
I'm gonna back that up because I also do have Talu Smith. Now, unfortunately, she has the narrative of like in the finals, she doesn't perform, where she'll run like a crazy fast heat or semifinal and she doesn't perform. And literally, I think the past four championships, she's like finished fourth place, or I think last year she got injured in the
yeah,
final. Now she has medals from 2017, she got silver. 2019, I think she got bronze.
Hmm.
But this is kind of before the current era. But I looked back because I was going back and forth, but I looked, this is the best season that Talu Smith has put together in the past couple years. Like she's been able to click off a bunch of 10-9s. She has a 10-8 on her record. 2023 actually was slightly better. She had run, I think, 10-7 early in the season, but she got to the Worlds and she got fourth place, but she didn't actually underperform. It's just that Sha'Carri ran 10-6.
Yeah.
Sharika ran 10-6 earlier that year, and then Shelly had like one of the best races. Like I think this is going to be the year that Talu Smith kind of breaks this barrier of the narrative of like, she's kind of getting, she gets a lot of hate. She gets like that, oh, you're Akani Simbine, and Akani is an amazing athlete too, but it's like she gets a lot of hate. I think this is going to be the year that Talu finally gets on the podium, and she's, I feel like she's
gets
pissed.
back on the podium.
Yes, I'm sorry, gets back on the podium,
Back
and
up
I feel like she's
podium.
pissed. I feel like she's pissed. So
Hmm.
I'm with the Talu. Um,
Talu. Interesting.
I mean, before we, because
Interesting
I
pick.
want to go over to 200, but I don't, Anson. You feel like that's because you already said Kellyanne,
I
so
got Shelly.
we're basically all picking, the 30-year-old athletes to get on the podium essentially. Like aside from the top two, that like
Right.
we're in alignment to a
Wait,
degree.
Coach Rob, who you got for the bronze?
Oh, Marie Jose
You
Talu
got
Smith.
you got her. Okay.
That's
Yeah.
and that, I mean, again, that's not the type of pick where I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I'm not taking out my wallet. But but if
Right.
you want to pick, that's my pick.
It's a tough bet. Okay. Okay. All right.
Eh,
Yeah.
well, no, go ahead, go ahead.
No, we'll see, man. We'll see. I think that's the part of the race that this is going to be the most viewed bronze medal in a while
It will,
because everyone knows it's going to get top two.
it will, it will.
Um,
The
so
200, we could shift over real quick where a lot of the similar names. I mean, I think actually it's a similar situation. Gold and silver might be sewn up maybe a little bit closer in terms of like the women behind, but then I feel like there's a competition for bronze. But I don't know if we agree that Melissa, Julien, some combination of those two are the favorite for the gold and the silver medal. And maybe this could be a different order, or maybe Julien might be the slight favorite here. I don't know if it's reversed. That's, I guess, a question for both of y'all.
Well, before we even go there, I mean, well, one, Julian Alfred is the world leader, 2171,
True,
negative point 0.6. That's this season.
true, true, true,
And we also have to put on the board Gabby Thomas isn't running.
true. She's
So
out.
and that's our reigning Olympic gold medalist. And then we have to throw on the board again. We don't know what we're getting from Sharika Jackson yet. Because and I'm gonna say this, because I don't make any 200-meter women's picks without always putting my caveat. If Sharika Jackson decides and is capable to go out there and run anything close to what we've seen from her in 2022, 2023, forget about it. You see what I'm saying? Because like her level is not the level everyone else is on. It's just we haven't seen that. I don't know if she'll ever get back to that. I don't know if this is. I don't necessarily feel confident that this is that year.
and I think in those seasons we saw glimpses and we
Yeah,
haven't seen
like I
any
don't. Yeah, I don't
glimpses.
believe this is that season. It's just like because it's just like I can't act like it never happened because
Mhm.
she's still herself. It's just can she go out and give that? So with all that on the board, then yes, I'd say it now starts to feel like Julian and Melissa,
Yeah. Um,
which is crazy to say out loud because when the
I
season
know.
started, I never
Yeah.
would have told you we're having this discussion with Melissa Jefferson-Wooden in a 200. Wait,
I
this,
know.
yeah.
And
Brittany
but the
Brown
thing is,
though, she's going.
Brittany
she
Brown is
is.
cooking.
Now, okay, with that, I think after running 100, I'm questionable as far as if Melissa's going to be able to back it up with the 200 because she hasn't done it. She wasn't even a doubler. She wasn't even considered a double athlete. All of a sudden, you're a double athlete. You're going to championships. You're expected to win both.
Mm,
That's wild. It's already wild to not be in contention for a gold medal, and all of a sudden you're the front runner for a gold medal. So to be front runner for the gold medal in the 100 and the 200, all of a sudden that's a lot, man. That's a lot. You're not necessarily you became a 200-meter runner this season. I just think we've seen Julien do it last year when she got the
yeah.
silver behind Gabby Thomas. So with that, I think that she has an edge going into the 200 just because she's done the the rounds of both and still come out on the podium. Can Melissa do it? Well, did they have 3 rounds in each at USA's or was it 2 rounds?
2 rounds,
2 rounds of the
Right,
200. Yeah.
right. So
but it was
that's
same day.
different. Right. Oh, well, that's a challenge. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
uh, hmm. Well, that poses a good question. What's more difficult, two 200s in one day or three 200s over 3 days?
I would
But
say
I
two in
think
one day, but
I'd say two in one day. But I think to your point,
Hmm.
Julian was a doubler while she was in NCAA. Like she's been
That
doing
too.
it for her
Yeah, man.
career, and like just on the board, she has like she's run 21-7. Like
Right.
it's just like it is tough to say that Melissa would be the favorite. Now, that's not to say Melissa can't win or can't challenge Julian, but I think that Julian just has like she's in a much better position in his 200
yeah,
going into Worlds. Much
She
better
ran a
position.
three. She ran a 300 earlier in the year as well.
Yeah.
yeah,
She was running
and
400
beat
Beat
Jordan
short.
Shamika.
Yeah.
Jackson. Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah. She beat
Yeah.
Sharika in the 300. Yeah.
Yeah. So I think if Melissa gets the 100, she'll be okay with losing the 200. I know she wants the 200, but
it's
the 100
bonus.
is what she wants. It's a bonus.
Yeah,
It's a definite bonus for everybody. No one even, I don't think she even expected to be in contention for the 200 at the beginning of this year. I don't think she was thought she'd be in. I think she started thinking about it at Miami Grand Slam.
Mm.
She's like, hey, yeah, I might try to get in the 200.
yeah. I think
Uh,
Philly though would be really the moment because remember she got third in that 200 in Miami to
she
Tamara
got
Davis.
third. She got third, but she was in contention, and
Yeah,
and and
but
and
like
I
you still have to
I
make the
don't.
team.
You still have to make the team, yes, but I don't think she even thought she would be a contender in the 200. Now, mind you, a medal contender is different from a contender. A medal contender is when it was in Philly. That was clear. You beat Gabby from that distance, run 21-7 on a track like the Penn track.
Hmm.
Then yeah, that's okay. I'm a 200 factor now. Um, but that's new information for her too at that point of the season. So that's even worse. Like when was that? May?
Yeah.
Now you're like, oh, I could be a 200-meter gold medalist all of a sudden.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's been a crazy switch up, but like I said,
Yeah.
Julian Alfred is the only way. Not Julian Alfred, because Julian Alfred been at this level, but Melissa, I just keep relating it to in NBA 2K when they do the updates and then they like change the rating to the player.
Right.
It's like you
Right.
played it one day and the rating was one thing, and you play it another day and the rating is something different, and it's like, oh, this player don't move the way they used to move anymore. It just changed up, and it's like we just kind of have to get on board because at first we were waiting for her to go back to a regression line, and she never did.
No.
So at this point, it's just like maybe this is just what maybe we're gonna have to just get used to this. That maybe this is
Yeah.
what it is. But I still can't. Okay, Mackenzie Long, does she get in now because Gabby is not
Yeah.
going?
Yeah.
So
She
that
gets a
means
spot.
her and Brittany Brown, who were there at the last games, who were there in the final, and Brittany Brown got a medal, they're now going. So it's
Hmm.
almost like a second life. So I think they
Brittany's
are
getting the
actually
bronze.
that's
Brittany's getting the bronze.
yeah, I feel
I
like yeah,
I
I feel more
agree.
confident in her now. Where I'd say, but here's the thing, Melissa Jefferson Wooden, as you said, like 2184, like what we thought, that's great. I don't feel, Julian Alfred to me, it feels like she's the gold medalist. That's how it feels to me.
Hmm.
And Melissa Jefferson Wooden could get silver, but I don't feel anywhere near as confident that like it's a foregone conclusion. As I like the
Yeah.
100 is different, where it's like, yeah, them two. Here it's like Julian's there, Melissa is should be there, but could Brittany Brown and Mackenzie Long get her? Like,
I
oh,
don't think Mackenzie. I all due respect to Mackenzie, I don't think she's not a to me she's not a true contender. Even her last couple races just
oh yeah,
haven't
yeah,
looked
yeah,
great.
true.
Been
You're right.
tough. It's been
Yeah,
tough.
it's been tough.
Is she
And
dealing with an injury or something? I mean
I,
that
I
that
just
because
I
I
just
wasn't even thinking about that. I was thinking about her at USA. I wasn't thinking
I
about with the last
yeah,
races that I saw from
I
her.
did see at like after the Zurich Diamond League final, this is before Gabby pulled out, obviously. She did post that, she's taking a break and all that. So now it's probably like the weight of the season has just been kind of tough for her, but now she's going to jump back in. I'm just not sure she's going to be in the mix.
I'm
Hmm.
sorry, a
I
Navy of battle. I'm sorry.
so that's what I was going to say. I think in general actually I agree, Anson. I think Brittany Brown is probably going to get bronze, if not challenge for silver. She'd have to run if let's say Melissa runs her best 19 or I'm sorry 21.8. Brittany's best is I think 21.90. So she'd have to run a big PR. But I think a Navia Battle and maybe Dean Asher Smith as well are probably the two that I'm looking at as like, okay, they are going to be pushing for some medals. Maybe Amy Hunt as well. But yeah, that's what I'm kind of looking at.
Canavia Battle is a good pick. What's Brittany Brown's PR?
21.90.
90.
Yeah. She's been consistent without
She'll
being
run that
like,
all the time.
yeah, she's not like I'm dropping 21.8, 21.7, but
Right,
she finds a way to be in the mix.
right. And Canavia Battle's PR?
It's 21.9, I think 8
Right,
from a couple years back. So but she's also another one who's like she can be in a race. Like she's literally won like all these Diamond Leagues except the Diamond League final this year. So yeah,
right. Imagine Brittany Brown came in one with
honestly,
fresh legs.
that's a good
That'd
point.
be madness,
This
Fresh.
one is where I feel more confident compared to like the men's 200. This one was where I could see Brittany Brown or someone else. The Navy Battle shows up and is like, "Hey, it's my only event. I'm taking advantage."
Because they're specialists, right? They're 200-meter specialists. And these are, I mean, Julien and Melissa are really, really good 100-meter runners. So good that they can run good 200s. That's how I view them. I wouldn't view them as specialists per se. So we
That's
just said
true.
Melissa just picked up on the 200 this year. It's like, come on.
Yeah, but keep in mind, like I, hey, I hear the
This is
conversation.
far-fetched. This is super
Yeah,
far-fetched. I'm just
because I'm
saying.
like Julian Alfred has looked way too good, way too long for me to.
Yeah, she
Because remember,
has. She has.
coming into the
Just too
Olympics last
far-fetched.
year, it was before Sharika ended up pulling out and everything happened. It was Sharika, Julian, and Gabby Thomas.
Gabby.
Like that was the
Hmm.
discussion. And when the dust settled, that's what it was. It was just that Sharika was not on the line. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
now, like you move it forward. I mean, let's back up because we brought up Sharika's name. She's gonna be running, right?
Yeah, she's running.
Okay, so
I
can
think
we?
it hinges on what happens in the 100. I could imagine her not doing well in the 100 and choosing to pull out of the 200.
I could see that. I could
But
see that.
as of now, she's running. As of now,
Right.
she's doubling, you know.
Right.
Okay,
Mind you, if Gabby was running, I'd have picked her for the win.
No, 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 no.
I,
They
I, I would have. You know why? Because she looked like she had some sort of injury at USA's,
yeah,
and
Yeah, she had
I
an
would have thought,
Achilles injury, yeah.
right. So I would have thought, okay, she squeaked onto the team. She's gonna have some time to get right. It's a long time since USA's to September when the actual championships happened. I, I thought she would have found a way to, you know what I'm saying, get in decent shape and then come in with fresh legs and potentially. win. But obviously, I'm assuming the reason she's not going is because of the injury. Could be some other
Yeah,
things.
Yeah.
yeah,
Maybe she's saving her legs for Athlos.
that would be crazy if
I
she.
mean, I
If
assume
Maybe she
she
wants to
I
be.
just assumed. I'm
I'm gonna
assuming.
pull out of the World Championships to make sure I'm ready
that
to
would
perform
be
at Athlos.
crazy
Yeah, I
if
just
she ran
No,
assumed.
Athlos. Oh my
Yeah,
no,
god.
that ain't the reason.
I just assumed that there
But
was a setback.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah,
so I think she just doesn't have it, so she's pulling out, and she got a brand now too.
yeah, yeah.
So she can't be getting destroyed in the 200 now. That's not the brand, right? And the thing is, I think speaking of Athlos, I think banked a lot of they banked a lot on her winning Athlos, and Brittany ended up coming in and beating
It's
her.
it's true. That's true.
And I don't think that's her. She doesn't. People don't want to see her losing, especially now if she's coming second or third or fourth, stuff like
Yeah,
that. So if you ain't ready, yeah, she ain't gonna go. That's the game now, man, when it comes to track, is because it's all marketing and branding. So people are taking their brand into account a lot more
mm,
because, like you guys said, people don't even notice when they lose some of those smaller races.
yeah.
They don't even know about it. But you come through at the championships, your brand is protected. And the way things are set up right now, it's almost like that means more than actually performing on the circuit.
It's true. That's true. That's true. That would again, that'd be wild if she showed up at Athlos after
I know,
pulling out.
right?
That would
I'd be
be
pissed, yo.
like,
You know how mad I'd be? I'd be so mad.
but hey, well, I think in general we can kind of see. I think we can agree. Julian probably like the favorite overall, and then Melissa probably holding down the second, but it wouldn't be a complete shock if she ended up, bronze. And Brittany Brown, I think, is like really good, and there's other contenders in the mix as well. But for the most part, I think we can hold that Julian is probably the favorite in his 200, as opposed to the 100 where Melissa is that favorite.
Well, whoever makes the final, it's gonna be a real interesting bag because that part, like once you get out of the medal contention group, I'd say it's pretty wide open.
Yeah,
But actually getting the medals themselves, that list starts to thin out. And it looks like the American ladies are gonna have fun with the rest of the podium. I mean, unless if Sharika Jackson show up as herself or some version of herself. I mean, don't I will never discount that. All she got to do is be a version of herself.
Just a version, one version of yourself.
mm,
But we haven't seen a version since 2023, man.
long time. Women's 400 meters at the Tokyo World Championships. Now, this has been an interesting story over a couple years because now, so Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone, the GOAT of the 400-meter hurdles, she decided that she is only focusing in on the 400 this year. And for some context, 2023, she did the same. She wanted to do the 400 at Worlds in Budapest, but she got injured. So she wasn't able to compete at the World Championships there. Now, getting a little unfinished business. We know she's a GOAT of the 400 hurdles, but in this 400, in my opinion, she has, and I think most people's opinions, she has the toughest competition that she has ever faced since when she was a kid, maybe not even then. Molly Paulino, reigning Olympic champion, who's run, let's be clear, 48.17 seconds to win that gold. Sawaid Nasser, Olympic silver medalist and former world champion, who's run 48.14 back in the past. And this year, she's run 48 seconds a bunch of times. Sydney, she has a best of 48.74 from a few years back. This year, she's run 48.90. The question is, can Sydney take either of Paulino or Nasser down to win the 400-meter gold medal? Is it possible? Do we see it?
She's gonna take both of them down, Anderson. Both of them.
He said it with a straight face.
Listen, if you really think about it, what strength do they have to her?
A
If you
pure,
think about attributes, are they stronger than her?
I maybe not strong, maybe not pure stronger because she's a hurdler. Okay,
That's the only edge they're gonna have because her flat speed is way better than both of them. It's not even
Facts.
close.
That is a
So
fact.
I think it's I think it's just a matter of her getting a bunch of 400s in, which she's done. She did a few Grand Slam when I mean, she raced Paulinho when she ran her first 400 in who knows how many years in Paris.
And what happened?
She lost, but that was her first one. She was winning to about 340, 350,
Yeah.
right? Which I think when you do more 400s, that line gets closer. So I think she's done enough. I think just off attributes alone, if you just think about it, it's like, well, how is she going to lose? What they're going to all this prep and training, Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone is not going to be ready.
I think she'll be ready to compete. And I actually believe all three of them are capable of actually running 47, like 47.9. I don't know if that'll happen at Worlds, but that's a whole different discussion. But let's be
I
clear.
only, yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh,
I'm
you
not
laughed
going
at
down
that. I
that
wasn't gonna
path. I'm
laugh at
not
that.
joining you there.
I was
All right.
laughing in my
All
head.
right. But let's be clear. Sawi Nasser, just at this most recent race, I think in Zurich or something like that, she just ran 48.70 seconds. She ran the American record that Sydney has been chasing for the past 3 years. Sydney has been very vocal about wanting to get the American record, wanting to run fast. And I believe she'll get it at some point. But this year, she's only run 48.9. She hasn't competed since USA's. While she's, out training, and I'm sure she's going to be competitive. I'm sure she's going to be, in the mix. But like Paulino and Nasser are dropping 48 seconds throughout the season. Like nothing. like I I'm just not. And Paulino and Nasser have run 48.1 seconds. We've seen them do it. Like we've seen them do it. Head to heads, competition. Like
I have a
I
question. In
I
the
don't know.
races when they ran that fast,
Hmm.
were they competitive races? Were there somebody else fast in those races?
Both of them. In last year at the Olympic Games, Nasser ran 48.5 while Paulino ran 48.1. In
Okay.
2019, when Nasser ran 48.1, Shawnee Maluibo ran
Shana Maluibo,
48.3.
Yeah.
Like
So,
they
so
were competitive races.
yeah. So now
very competitive.
I mean, hey, I ain't gonna take much time. I'll let Anson handle it. I'll just say the way I see it is Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone has not run a competitive 400 like since probably that 2023 race where she lost in her like first real 400 in years. And she still held her own and went incredibly fast. She hasn't, when I say hasn't run a competitive race, because of her race model, like the way that she runs fours, which is relatively similar to how she runs 400 hurdle races. When she's coming off that final turn, and you ran the 400 in college, she's coming off the final turn and she's not seeing them.
Right.
They're not there. She doesn't feel them. She's just running. And this year, every 400 she has run, I checked it. She's every time because she won all of them. When she ran them, the closest anybody ever got to her was like about a half of a second. So, I mean, she's coming off
Yeah.
the turn. You're not here, and I'm a half a second ahead of you at the bare minimum. So the thing is, she's just been running time trials. She has not run races. That's all. Unless she's going to go race against Paulino and Nasser themselves, there is no woman in the world who can step in a race with her and make it a race because the American women we have who are fast stepped in races with her and couldn't do it. You
That's
see what
the
I'm saying? So
problem to
like
me.
they couldn't make it but the thing is like I made the argument that she can better prepare for worlds by just grabbing some like D2 400-meter runners on the guy's side and having them run 400s with her who run 48s and 47s. That's a more competitive race for her in training to do a simulated race, send a gun, like throw some people in some lanes. That's the only way she can prepare to like run fast because running actual races, they can't give her a person who can run an actual race and make it more than okay, yes, they're the gun and there may be a camera, but like it's not I'm not really racing. I'm
But
running
I
time
think
trials.
Okay,
I think
watch.
okay.
What? Well, if you, I don't know, I'm gonna take it somewhere else. So go say what you're gonna say.
I was just gonna say that I think is the problem where she just hasn't raced Paulino or Nasser to get enough experience to know what they're gonna do. Sawi Nasser runs some of the most erratic 400-meter races like out of any athlete in history. She will go out like a rocket, and she might be 50 meters ahead. Now, Paulino has been able to run against that and has somewhat been able to run her down and match that or figure out what she needs to do. But then there's times that Nasser is just so far out, that, which happened to Shauna Miller Rebo in 2019. That's like, oh, like I can't even catch her. Same thing with Paulino, where it's like you may feel like you're comfortably ahead of Paulino, but then she's gonna come catch you. I think the downfall for me with Sydney is that she hasn't gotten in enough races with these two women specifically to show that, okay, I'm ready to actually compete with them. And because she hasn't run since USA's, it's essentially banking off, all right, sure, I've been training, I've been practicing. Sure, she's insanely talented, but she's just going to have to be ready and show up at the World Championship final and just see what happens with against these two women specifically. I think she just needed a few more races before I could say a few more races against them too specifically before I could say, all right, I'm confident she can actually get the gold medal. It could happen, but I don't know.
Okay, I think that we've always seen Sydney pre-championships come into a championships as a totally different person. She'll be impressive, but then still come into a championships being a totally different being and still finding tenths, sometimes seconds, right?
Yeah.
Now she's not going to find seconds per se in 400,
Yeah.
but coming into the championships, she's going to be a totally different person. She's not going to run. She's going to run way faster than 48.7. That's one thing. And another thing is she's used to running really, really fast by herself. So if she's not going to see. Okay, you think that Nasser is really fast through the first 300, which she is, but she's not going to be ahead of Sydney coming into that home stretch. If I was to tell you exactly how it's going to play out, I see Sydney because her flat speed is it's not comparable with them. So for coming into the home stretch, Sydney's going to be ahead of both of them. I don't think Nasser's going to be. I've never seen Nasser come back on too many people
No, no, no.
from she usually has to get out. So that's going to change her final 100 meters straight away, having Sydney out in front of her. And I can see Paulinho closing on Nasser, probably passing her, but not being able to get to Sid. I think that Sydney right now is dialed in to, I think she's looking past them, if I'm being honest. I think she's looking at 47 seconds. I don't even think she's
If
thinking about
Okay.
them.
yeah,
Okay. I mean,
And that's not a disrespect. I'm just saying, I think that when Sydney she wins, she's a winner. She thinks world records. She doesn't even think about
what do you
people.
think? What do you think Sydney's 400 meter? I'm asking a different question. Anderson, what do you actually think Sydney's 400 meter ceiling is? Like, forget about her 400 hurdle career for a moment, and like, if she ended that and said, "Bump that, we're done
yeah.
with the 400 hurdles. I'm only running the 400 from this point on." Be honest with what you actually think she could accomplish if she took that energy to the event from the. Because this year she was messing around with the 400 hurdles before
Both
she
of them.
made this decision. You feel me? It
Right.
Yeah.
wasn't like she came in and said, "I'm running the four in
Yeah.
January."
That's why I was bringing
So
up the attributes
but
because
that's
her
what I'm saying.
ceiling.
Like, yeah, like, what
Yeah.
do you think the ceiling actually is?
I think that's where I started. I feel like she can run 47.
Okay.
World record, maybe that world record is crazy.
It's a
It's
crazy
like
world record.
it's actually crazy. But
Right.
I think she could run 47.8. Like if she like invested time into the event and like, really clocked things off and like prepared and everything. But I think Paulino and Nasser can also do that. That's where
Okay.
I feel confident that if Sydney can do it, Paulino and Nasser can do it. Because
I
I've
guess I
even
don't
seen
see
them
that.
get
I just don't
close.
see that because I don't. I think that's what
Speed.
Anson is arguing that like
Speed.
on
But
talent, there's no evidence that they are as talented as her in all the parts that would be sprinting, other than the fact that they actually run the 400. So to say they can do what she does, you're saying that people with less talent could max out to what she could do with more talent and max out. Is that fair?
well, sure, but
Like, am I getting that right?
Christina Hurugu was nowhere near as fast as Sonny Richards Ross. But how many times did she beat her back in the day? Even you can go back to like even Marie Jose Perec was like an amazing 400-meter athlete. She wasn't the fastest. I think she ran 21.9 into 200, but like she wasn't like absolute one of the fastest in a sense. Like there's aspects
Yeah, she
of
was fast. She won
was
the
she okay?
Olympics.
Yes, maybe actually, yeah, that's not a good example. But I
Yeah.
think like Sonny Richards Ross was running like sub 11, sub 22, like or whatever. Like she was fast. She shouldn't have been losing a lot of
Yeah,
races.
but that's
I
not
think,
Sydney though, because
but I
Sydney is the
think
400 hurdles to the 200. I think that's the combo I'm seeing. Like that fast in the 400 hurdles to the speed we saw in the two, where
But
it's like,
what I'm thinking about is I think we're downplaying how talented someone like Paulino is in the 400 as a true 400-meter specialist. She doesn't need to be running 22 low, like or whatever it is. And let's be clear, she's also run faster in the 200 this year than ever before. So, but I don't think she needs to be running like matching what Sydney does in the 200 because we've seen her run 48-1 without strong 200-meter strength. We've seen Sawi Nasser do the same without strong 200-meter strength. I think it's just a different beast where, sure, Sydney is one of the goats of track and field, considering what she's done in the 400 hurdles. But when I'm looking at this 400 specifically against Nasser and Paulino, it's just a different beast. She can win, but I just don't have enough evidence to say she is going to win for
I'm
sure.
actually going to revise what you said, though. You talked about 200-meter speed. You do realize in 2022, she ran 22:36 in the
Yeah, I didn't know
200.
she PR'd
And
this
she
year.
ran
She didn't
22:30 this year, which is like a slight
30.
Yeah.
Okay.
PR. So she
Yeah.
ain't really
Yeah.
that much faster. Just to
Okay.
clarify.
So better to my point, the fact that she's a 22.3 runner and she's able to run 48-1. Like what I don't even know what Nasser's personal best is in the 200, but she's been able to run 48-1. It's like that's why I just think Sydney is extremely talented. That's why I believe she, Nasser, Paulino, they can all run 47. I just don't have enough like data from this year and previous years to say she's definitely going to win the gold medal or like she's going to beat them. It can happen, but I
Yeah.
don't know.
When you say
I'm gonna
Nasser 40, oh, sorry, what were you going to say?
no, go ahead.
Because I'm looking at the results right now because I'm like fact checking because when you keep commenting on the 48-1, like that might be her PR. But she
Yeah.
ain't every other year of her career, she ain't never ran faster than 48:76. And
No,
then
this year she
this
ran
year,
48.6. And
uh,
last year she ran 48.5.
no, no,
Like
she ran 48.8. That's what good.
no, no,
That's
no.
what they
This
say it
year
is.
she ran 48.67 at the Grand Slam track meet in Kingston. She ran 48.8,
Oh, you're talking about
48.8.
Nathan. I'm sorry. I'm talking about Paulino. My fault.
Oh, Paulino, yeah,
I
she
might
ran
have said the
48.
wrong names.
Oh,
Yeah, I meant Paulino.
last year Paulina ran 48.17 and she ran 48.6 at the Poland Diamond League. I remember these races.
Yeah, I'm looking at wait, what are we talking about? We're talking about 2024?
You
So
guys are the
Paulino in
best.
2024, she ran 48.17 at the to win the Olympic gold. She
Yeah.
ran 48.6 after the Olympics at the Poland Diamond League. And even the
Yeah,
year
yeah, yeah.
before this year, she ran 48.81 to win Paris ahead of Nasser, who ran 48.84 or 5 or something like that. Like these women are clicking off 48-second performances, and they're not doing it with these fast 200-meter PBs.
But
Like,
that's the thing. I think they're at their ceiling, man.
no,
I think we've
Yeah.
seen
they're
their ceiling.
Yeah,
nah.
I'm more on the we've seen their ceiling, argument. But no, Anderson, no, no, I respect
It's
you. I respect
this
how you see it. I do.
right. This I'll give him this. It's we're talking about the unknown with Sydney. Okay.
Yeah.
But I'm gonna take it back to the branding. Okay. She's a brand. Okay. She's not gonna do an event unless she knows she's gonna dominate it.
Mm,
She, nor her people, nor her coach, unless she's gonna dominate it, they're not even gonna put her in that position. And the fact that she even decided to do the 400 is what made me realize, okay, she's sees something. They see something.
Yeah. Sydney McLaughlin-Levrone doing the 400 is like Tony Hawk going out there to do the first 900. Meaning like y'all could do your best trick competition all you want, but I got a trick that y'all can't hit that's better than the trick y'all got. He struggled to hit that time. He struggled to hit that trick for a while because nobody believed that anyone could do it. And then he landed it. Meaning, when she's running these time trials and you see her face being kind of like, oh man, I kind of wish that was a little faster and so on. Like, she's not racing these ladies. She's just racing herself. So that I think that's why. And again, like I hear your argument. I mean, Paulino is no disrespect to Nasser. Paulino, I think, is like the real contender to me in terms of like if you're asking me of those two who I think is the best, I'm choosing
yeah,
Paulino
yeah.
at this time.
Same.
And she has that 48-1 and that 48-6. You're right. She did run both of those times. But the rest of her report isn't that. I mean, we can focus on things. We can cherry pick the numbers how we want to. The way I see the numbers. Again, I remember 2023, the final, like the World Championship final, which was her season best in the four for Paulino. I remember
Yeah.
that being slower than what Sydney gave us at the American Championship, and then not going to the Worlds. Then I
Yeah.
remember the next year. which although it's different. I remember because Sydney did the 400 hurdles at the games and all that. I remember the Diamond League final where Sydney runs in a special section because of how they set that whole thing up. And I watched the times and I watched Sydney beat her on the clock. Because as far as I'm concerned, they were both throwing times on the board. That was the Diamond League final to me. Y'all could give a trophy to Paulina all you want. The Diamond League final to me was Sydney in her time trial versus Paulino in her time trial, and Sydney
100%.
won it. And
100%.
Sydney was running with, no disrespect, not the same level of field.
100%.
So as a result, now we're coming to this year. Sydney is undefeated in the four. That's a fact, not an opinion. She hasn't raced those ladies. That's a fact as well. So I get that's the other side of the argument. But it's just like, it's nowhere near random to choose Sydney just on actual races that have been run. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, it's not random. Like, there's real competitive moments where you could say, Sydney could have got you already. You see what I'm saying? Like, if they just dropped
Maybe.
Sydney in that Diamond League final race,
I don't
and
think
Sydney beat her, would
I don't
that
think
not mean anything to you if they
I
just
don't
won at the same time?
I think the difference is I don't think Sydney would have won in 2023 or that Diamond League final. I think Paulino shows up to meet her competition. That's what I think.
So you think she would have? You think Paulino would have just ran even faster?
Yeah.
Okay. But
That's what I
But the thing is, because I think Sydney was going to go faster. I don't think she was going to run the American. Am I right, Anson? Like, I don't think she was going to run.
I think you're
what she
right.
ran at USA's, just run the same race again. I thought. She was
Well,
gonna run
yeah.
better.
I mean, it would
I
have
think
been
you're right, but
competitive.
we're all just deliberating here. We're all seeing the perspectives that we have. But this is what I know. I'm using the word "no," even though it's another deliberation. Sydney's going to silence a lot of you people that have been tormenting me with my take as far as her becoming the world champion in the 400, and I can't wait. And now you're part of the list, Anderson. You're part of the list, the long list of the people that Sydney's going to silence. Silence. Do your thing, girl.
Listen, all I say is I actually want athletes to prove me wrong. If I don't pick them for like a gold or silver or whatever, I actually want them to prove me wrong. But I'm just going based off what I know and what I see and the data and everything. And Sydney is by far one of the greatest human beings like in this sport, in my opinion. But like just based on I just can't. I can't. Just based on what I know. I don't know.
Okay, well,
She's a winner, man. If she's in something, it's because she knows she's going to win. If she decided to do long jump, I'd be like,
I will say
What are they
to that-
seeing?
She did long jump in high school.
She did. She did.
And like
I
she
will
was
say
good.
to that take real quick on just like the fact that all right, she's coming in, she has a brand and all that. I think I actually, this is pure speculation. I don't think she wanted to do the 400-meter hurdles last year at the Olympic Games, but I think she knew and realized, and her team realized, you need to win an Olympic gold medal, another Olympic gold medal, to make sure that your brand is set forever. So that's why I think she did the 400 hurdles. Because like we were saying before, and it's not to diminish her in any way, but like I think that was an aspect. Let's be clear. The public does not watch the World Championships. They don't even know that she missed in 2023. They don't even know that she
Right.
got a silver medal in 2019. They don't know any of that. They just know that she's a two-time Olympic champion. She's a multiple-time world, record holder.
Right.
Like that's what they know. This year, she can finish last place. The world will not know.
no, they'll know, man. It's Sydney,
But the
man.
track world will know.
They'll know.
Track
But
world, yeah.
all of her fandom, like the American sports world, will not know, nor will they care. They think
No,
that the
they'll
world
know.
championships are the practice.
No, fresh off the Olympics last year, they'll know. They'll know if Sydney gets destroyed in that 400. They'll know.
They won't
They're
care
gonna
though.
know.
They won't care. It'll be like, oh, okay, it's not the Olympics though. Like we got to be honest. Like that's what
Yeah,
they'll think.
I mean, people are like the sport because I don't view
Okay,
myself as part of the track community as much as the part of the sports community, and the sports community could care less.
Okay, yeah.
They could.
But
care
you know
less.
what? I think you know what? I don't think I know her people and are focused on her brand, but I think she's still a diehard competitor.
Yeah.
And she is if she's gonna do something, she's gonna win it.
She wants to win for sure.
Yeah,
And-
it's so
yeah.
so this is a big deal for her. I think
Yeah.
this is a big deal for her. And that's why she's gonna silence all of you, Anderson.
Let me be very clear. I am rooting for Sydney. I'm just going based off of the way I
No,
look
don't
at
do
data
that.
and all that stuff. So
Don't do that. Don't. You're not on this side. You're not on this side. Don't try and do that stuff now. You're not rooting for anybody
Hey,
but Paulinho and
hey,
Nasser.
well, on that note, we're gonna have to see how the
Tokyo
chips
World
fall.
Championships. So we're looking now at the men's 400 meters, where we have a couple different names from around the world. I think this is a pretty wide open event. You have guys like Matthew Smith. He's the Olympic silver medalist from last year. Just got edged out by Quincy Wilson or Quincy Hall. Sorry, Quincy Wilson actually didn't make the USA team. Not going to be competing despite being, an Olympic gold medalist by way of the relay. But Matthew Smith, silver medalist from last year at the Olympics. Quincy Hall won't be here because he's been dealing with some injuries, so we're losing the Olympic champion. But we do have some other names like Muzala Samakonga. He's a bronze medalist. You have Ja'Cory Patterson, the U.S. champion, the Diamond League champion. He's, famously UPS worker, now got a Nike contract. So he's kind of had a big, big year in 2025. Chris Bailey, Cronny James, Dream Richards. I mean, there's a lot of guys who are in the conversation when looking at the men's 400. I feel like Ja'Cory might be the favorite going into World Champs, but I don't know if you feel similar or if we, yeah,
That's an argument that could be made, but I'll be honest, I don't know if there is a favorite. I
that's
feel
fair.
like this is an event where it's just gonna be in that get it how you live category, to quote Dawn Harper Nelson. Like, I mean, because if we really look at the clock, like if we're saying between 43.7 and 44.2, I mean, it's just a grab bag of names.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? Like, and if you throw all those guys in the final, like, this could
Yeah.
go either way. Because remember, we're talking about a 400. So that half
Yeah.
second is just going to come down to grit. That's why it's like, ironically, this is the type of field that Quincy Hall would have been able to win again
Oh, yeah.
because he would now be my pick. Because I'm like, oh yeah, when it comes down to last 100 meters, who wants it more? We know that that guy is him. If
Mm,
that's how y'all gonna have to outrun him. That's how you beat
yeah.
Quincy Hall. But since he's not here, I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, well, let's start here. The Keith and Nene had the fastest time in the world this year. I mean, the same guy who lost to Quincy Wilson, who you brought up briefly. I mean, indoors. I mean, the season go back and forth. I mean,
Yeah.
the season go through different ebbs and flows. But at this present moment, I mean, he's all the way at the top. I mean, and then you got the boys from America. We've got, three guys. I mean, I think Chris Bailey just is probably if I was, it's probably the one I'd lean to just from like having been there in the past. But then
Yeah.
if who I'm picking for the gold would be Matthew Hudson Smith.
Okay. Okay. So I'm not mad at that. I'm not mad at that. I've gone a little, maybe I'm thinking back and forth between Matthew and Ja'Cory because Matthew has the experience. You can't count out Olympic silver, and he did go toe to toe with Quincy Hall at the Olympic Games last year. Like it was actually a pretty close race. Quincy, like you said, he has that grit. This would have been a perfect race for him to win. Matthew just got edged out, but he is in a good position, and he won, I think, the Prefontaine Classic ahead of Chris Bailey, ahead of Ja'Cory, ahead of Caleb, actually ahead of all the Americans this year. So he has some good races under his belt. Ja'Cory, though, I like the fact that he's run 43 seconds twice this year. He's a Diamond League champion. He's a U.S. champion, and I actually think that Prefontaine Classic race might have been the only race he lost this year. Outside of, yeah, I think that actually might have been the only race that he lost this year. I think it was behind Matthew and Chris Bailey. So Chris Bailey, obviously, he's the world indoor champion. He's been kind of dominant throughout the year, very consistent. He made the Olympic final last year, so you can never count him out. And shout out to Vernon Norwood. He got the wild card, or he was granted a spot because Ja'Cory got the wild card at the Diamond League final, so he'll be there. Caleb McRae, he's run sub 44 seconds this year. He has a 43.9 on the board, but it's like I'm I don't know if he's consistent enough for me to say, all right, he's going to be in the mix. That's a question. So I'm not mad. I will say I'll probably pick Ja'Cory just slightly over Matthew Hudson Smith, but I think it'll be a close race.
And don't sleep on Charlie Dobson,
That's
Diamond League
true.
final champion last year.
That's true. That's true.
So it's
Yeah,
like
he's
I'm
Yeah,
telling you, it's a grab bag at this point. It's
yeah,
just a bunch of guys who are going to all come with that 44-0 type energy. And, he's just going to throw it at the wall and just kind of see like, this is going to come down to who wants it more. So if the question is who wants it more, then, I mean, can we even nail that part down? Because the thing is, because there's no standout, and like, okay, if you want to go off of past performances, that's where you want to bring Karani James back and say, okay, well
true.
maybe he can find something. I think at this point in his career, he's not running quite as fast
Yeah, no, no,
as he
no.
was at one point, but on experience, he can find his way into the final.
Absolutely. Even someone like, I mean, like I mentioned at the top, Musala Samakonga, he's an Olympic bronze medalist. Like you can't count him out. Even Dream Richards, he was fourth place at the Olympics last year. He didn't run 43 this year, but he ran it last year. It's like it is very much up in the air in terms of who can really take it. And there's good arguments for Ja'Cory. Sure, he has a contract now, but like he doesn't want to end off the season after having such a good year without the gold medal. Or Matthew, he's been getting silver medals actually the past couple years, 2023 and 2024, and he got bronze in 22. So he wants to get the gold medal. So I don't know. Between those two, Chris Bailey as well. I don't know. It is a mixed bag. It is a mixed bag.
Hey,
Hmm.
hey, I hear you. I mean, I'm with you on all of it. It's just this one is going to be a little too hard to choose, just to be
It
real.
is.
It's too many names that are all too close together. And if you're looking about like, past success as your differentiator, it feels like I'll say this much, it feels like we're going to have a brand new world champion.
Mm.
I mean, like we're
I
going
mean,
like the podium is going to look like names that you didn't see last year. I like yes. Matthew Hudson Fifth, I brought him back, but like he wasn't in the gold spot. Like
yeah,
it's just not going to be a run it back type situation, and it's not just taking Quincy Hall out of it. 2023, even you go back there to like it's just the
yeah.
400 right now is kind of like we're missing your like those guys where the Michael Norman, Fred Curley, Stephen Gardner like this isn't that.
Mm,
You see what
mm,
I'm saying? I feel like they
yeah.
haven't been replaced in terms of like that level of talent at the top. And as a result, because they haven't been replaced, it's why somebody about to get a gold, but can't nobody tell you
Who? I will say, I think Matthew probably is the guy on paper. He actually is kind of at that level. Like he's run 43.4. Like he's one of the fastest all time when talking about the 400. It's just that he hasn't won a gold medal for people to say, all right, he is that guy. I agree. I think this could be his time. I'm still, I just like Ja'Cory's momentum going into Worlds. And honestly, I could see this being very, very fast, where Ja'Cory has run 43 seconds this year. Um, Obviously, Caleb McRae, I'm not sure he'll do it, but you have Zakiti Nene. He can, run 43 seconds again. Matthew has done it last year. Chris Bailey could do it for the first time. Dream did it last year. We could still see a very fast 400. I think, though, because it's so open, it gives that feeling that there's no dominant athlete where, like you said, Michael Norman, 2022, going into Worlds, he was dominant. He ran 43 seconds a whole bunch of times. He was undefeated and he went on to win the gold medal. Stephen Gardner in previous years, same thing, dominant, went on to win Olympic golds, world golds. Like those athletes were dominant throughout the season. This year, it's a little up in the air, but I can still see it being, I think it'll be very competitive, which will make it relatively interesting. Hmm.
so. Well,
Yeah.
hey, I mean, we'll be watching to see how it all plays out. But what we do know is it's going to be a battle to the line in that final 100.
It'll be close.
When
It'll
it
be
comes to the
close.
World Championships in the hurdles, the 100 hurdles for the women has to be one of the hottest competitions that we're going to get when we're over in Tokyo. Mathai Russell is the Olympic gold medalist, and she's coming into this one again as the world leader. And although she dealt with some injuries in the middle part of the season, she ran fast, got herself back, and then ran fast again. So the question is anyone going to knock off the Olympic gold medalist And if so, who's that person?
Well, I think, like you said, I think the important thing, like you said, is that she is the Olympic gold medalist. Not only is she the Olympic gold medalist, she is the fastest in the world this year, and she has displayed consistency throughout this year that we didn't see last year either, right? Entering the Olympic Games, I think the only race she won was the Olympic trials, for Masai Russell. She won the Olympic trials, she won the Olympic Games. I don't think she won a single race outside of that in 2024. This year, Masai has really asserted her dominance as the hurdler to beat. And, we saw her do it. I think she did it at USA's this year. She won it and she put on a crown. She's like, I'm the queen of the hurdles. I think this is her race to lose. She's run 12.1 on two occasions this year, which is something we've never seen in history. Yes, she doesn't have the world record, but that could go down as well. I think this is her race to lose. Now, to be fair, there are some women who are capable of taking advantage if Masai slips up or, if they have an amazing day between, you got Akira Nugent, who's, was tearing it up in Grand Slam track alongside Masai. She was running really, really well. And I think she just won the Diamond League final. You have Toby Amusan, who's in this race as the world record holder. You have Grace Stark. She won a couple Diamond Leagues this year. Alicia Johnson made the Olympic final this year. Defending world champion Daniel Williams, Megan Tapper. There's Nadine Visser from Netherlands. There's a couple of women who are in the field, but in my opinion, I think it's Masai and then everyone else is fighting for the other medals. Again, people can take down Masai, right? It's not like she's the overwhelming favorite, and it's the hurdles. Like anything can happen. But I think it is Masai's race to lose based on what we've seen.
I agree. And I mean, it's hard for me to leave that take. The question is, who else would be there then? I mean, somebody got to get these other medals. I don't see how Masai's not on the podium if,
Yeah.
again, health, everything assumed, because the hurdles, you don't want people to go down, things like
Yeah.
that. So then once you get past those assumptions, it's like, well, I think Toby Amasan is actually looking
Yeah.
pretty dangerous at this point.
Hmm.
I mean, like, it is what it is. Like Grace Stark, you always got to put her in the final where that fits to me. That's why I always got to put her there. And then you can kind of where she slates is, kind of, up in the air. It does kind of feel to me like she is the second best hurdler that America has now.
Oh yeah.
And then Alicia
Hmm.
Johnson is third best, but she could very easily be in that final. And then, yeah, I think Akira Nugent, she hasn't been to the podium yet, right?
No, because she was essentially the same timeline as Masai coming out of
Yeah.
college, and she didn't medal in 23. And then last year she was in the final, but she hit a hurdle, and so she didn't show up. So yeah, but I feel like Akira this year is maybe operating on a different level where she realizes, okay, I made a mistake in that final last year, but she's run last year she ran 12.2 a couple times. I think this year she's only run 12.30. Um, but I think she's in a good position where she can get on the podium. But I think, like you said, it's tricky because even someone, shout out to Netherlands with Nadine Visser, she's run 12.2 this year, and you know people look at her as a strong contender. Um, yeah, Daniel Williams, the defending world champion, like you can't count her out. She's a two-time world champion from 2015 and 2023. It is. I see it as a decent grab bag behind Masai, but I personally do I like Toby. She's a world record holder. You can't count her out, and she's had a good season. And I think I do like Akira as well to get on that podium. But I'm not like solid on it.
If it wasn't going to be them, I would say Nadine Visser and Grace
Mm,
Stark would be the other names I'd throw in the bag. Danielle Williams could definitely be there, but this is where I'm picking, and that's based off of
mm,
just the sense I got from the races I watched. Because I watch practically all the Diamond Leagues, and I'm watching like the races go off. So it's just after a while, you just kind of get a sense of like it feels like you're a little bit more like, I mean, again, you just got to pick at some point. Like,
yeah.
if you're gonna make a pick for the purposes of what we're doing here, then that's where I'm seeing it. The final does not feel that wide open, though. I'll say that much. It does not. It's just that the medals feel wide open with the idea that the gold is supposed to go to one person in particular.
Mm.
And if it doesn't, she's still getting something. So it's like, all right, again, everybody's gonna have to go claw it out, fight it out, because it's just not a clear line of like, I mean, because so many people are under 12-3 this year.
Like it's insane. It's
Like
actually
even yeah, like even
crazy.
just starting there, like like and again, people who ain't even gonna be there.
Literally,
Like
like
people, like
actually,
multiple people who won't be at Worlds who ran 12-2.
which is it's actually crazy. It's actually crazy, which to the point it makes it so competitive where yeah, there's certain athletes who like shout out to Alicia Johnson, who I think, she made the Olympic final last year, so she has at least consistency of being able to make teams. She even made the World Championship team for USA in 2022. But I'm not sure if she's like, all right, I'm confident she's going to be in the mix for a medal right now. I think there is maybe a couple different conversations going. Now, she'll be in the mix in the final, but I think there's like a couple different things where it's like, all right, Masai, a couple others, maybe Alicia is in like the second group, along with, some others as well. But it'll be competitive. It'll be very competitive.
Well, we're going to see how that competition plays out. But if you slide over to the women's 400 hurdles,
Hmm.
when we talk about competition, it's a very different discussion because Sydney's not going to be there, and Femke Bol is coming back for the Netherlands. So if
Yeah.
that's the truth, I mean, let's just be honest. It's Femke Bol and the field because she's
Yeah.
done this in the past where she has the time that's fast that you see on the boards and nobody's really in that same space. She's run 52 low multiple times now.
Yeah. Well,
And
51
yeah,
multiple times even. Yeah.
yeah. So but yeah, so I mean this season, I think Dalilah Muhammad is solidly like probably who should be right there behind her.
Yeah.
And I think Anna Cockrell, we saw that when Femke was slipping, she got her. But like, let's be real. I mean, is anybody beating Femke Bowl? Like, does anybody feel confident saying, that that's not going to happen? Because, I mean, to me, it feels like that's just kind of is what it is. Like, hey, when
Yeah.
she heard Sydney wasn't running the 400 hurdles, I think she probably refreshed that article a few times to make sure that what she was reading was true.
It's true. It's true. Because we don't even have to go back far to see what this looks like. 2023, when Sydney wasn't there in the 400 hurdles, Femke Bol won comfortably. I mean, I know who finished silver and bronze. It was, Shamir Little and Rochelle Clayton, but I don't think many people remember. People think, okay, Femke won the gold medal because Sydney wasn't there. And I think similar is going to happen here, and it's not to downplay Femke in any capacity, but I think the world understands the landscape of this event. This is Sydney McLaughlin-Levroni's event, and when she steps away, it's Femke Bol, in the driver's seat. Now, like you said, Dalilah Muhammad, she is by far the best. Let me not say by far, but she is probably the best behind Femke, and she's run 51.5 seconds, and you know before Femke came on the scene, she was battling it out, if not beating Sydney, when Sydney was younger. So Dalilah, I'm sliding her in behind Femke. But like you said, anyone, anything can happen on any given day. Anna Cockrell can pull up. Dalilah Muhammad. You have Savannah Sutherland, who broke Sydney McLaughlin-Levroni's NCAA record, earlier this year, representing Canada. Jasmine Jones is in the mix. So there's a few women who are in the mix, but this is the Femke Bowl show. This is really the Femke Bowl show.
Yeah. When you bring up Savannah Sutherland and I look back at her results, because she was running in the NCAA system,
Hmm.
and at 52.4, I mean, yeah, that's amazing to see. I mean, like obviously it puts you real high on the boards. And then I looked at where she'd been since. She was running the four at the Canadian Championships,
Yeah.
the Open Four, and I guess she just gets to go in the 400 hurdles anyway.
Yeah. I don't even know if they have enough people qualified. I think she just gets a spot.
Yeah, and then after that, she did run the 400 hurdles in Poland,
And not
and
too good.
yeah, that didn't necessarily go anywhere near the same, clip because she, you can see what she runs. She was really more of a 54, 50, but she actually, let me take that back. She did run 55s at different points in the season. So it's like that, because at
Hmm.
52, to some degree, like she was, I don't want to say inconsistent, but like
Yeah.
she ran 53, and then she ran, 55s, and so but I guess it's in the realm of reality. It's just that, like, remember, we get so, I don't want to say spoiled, but I guess when you watch Sydney run 52 like it's nothing. 'Cause remember, she barely ran the 400 hurdles. She ran it twice, and she went 52-0. And Femke Bol has like
Yeah.
dedicated to that event this season, and she's only like barely faster by like a tenth or so of a second.
Yeah. And Sydney did that in like the beginning of May. Like it's a different realm where Femke is like peaking for worlds as she gets closer now. So yeah, it's different. I will say the reason, because I agree, Savannah just hasn't been consistent this year outside of that 52. She has a 53. She did finish seventh place at the Olympic Games last year. And it's almost just in my mind that like she broke Sydney McLaughlin-Levroni's record. Like that means something where I can't count you out. Now I'm not saying I'm not even going to put her on my podium, but at least she's in the conversation in a sense of like, okay, you put a time on the board that I can't look over. You know.
Yeah, it's just I put it. Congratulations for breaking the record. It's just remember, Sydney was a freshman in college,
That's true. That's
setting that
that's
record, and you're doing it, at 22 years old. Where was
yeah.
Sydney at 2020 at 22?
She
So
was
like by this point,
yeah,
she
yeah,
had
yeah.
Olympic gold, she had world records, she had
Yeah.
so like she was still on the come up. So at back then, so I mean, it's weird where it's like if somebody was going to break that record, it does make sense. It would be like someone who stayed in college consistently for a period of years and
Yeah.
like chipped away to kind of get that performance. But hey, I mean,
Eh,
the 400 hurdle situation. I mean, anytime Pimka Bowl is there, I think it's entertaining in its own right. I think Dalila Muhammad getting her last, kind of go around
mhm.
her victory lap tour. It's exciting to see. I'm assuming she's going to give the best that she has in that moment.
Yeah.
Pimka Bowl's going to have to run because like I think that 50.9 or whatever we saw in the past that one time, I think that set a new expectation.
Mhm.
And I think we kind of have to walk it back and be like, well, maybe that was just a one-off, and maybe what you probably really are is 51 mid to high when you're really going at it. And let's be real, that's probably enough. Like so
It likely will be. I mean, well, we can shift over to the men's hurdles where the 110 hurdles, it's been kind of interesting this year. I think the question is are we going to see the Grant Holloway from previous years at this championships? Because Grant Holloway, for all intents and purposes, he has been the greatest 110 hurdler that we've seen in at least a generation, if not two, if not ever. Right? He's, doesn't have a world record, but he has the Olympic gold, which was the one thing that he was missing. He has three consecutive world championship gold medals. He's run, some of the fastest times in history. Like he's been the guy. But this year, he unfortunately hasn't looked like himself. And kind of Cordell Tinch, he's, stepped into that realm where he's now, been winning a lot of races. He's run sub 13 seconds a whole bunch of times. Is it that Cordell Tinch is now going to take over from what Grant Holloway has done? Or do we think Grant Holloway is going to maintain his dominance at the championships at least?
well, this goes back to my theory that if you're a real champion, like a truly one of the greatest of the great. Because
Mhm.
Grant Holloway has two different camps at this point. There's camp one that says he's already the greatest. Then there's the other camp that says he's arguably but. If he wins this one, I'll take away the but.
Mm.
Meaning I think I would be willing to now defend him against those people and say, what do you more do you want? Because this is the one that he's
Yeah,
not supposed to win. Because the only reason they're saying it because he doesn't have the world record in the 110 hurdles. Am I right? Isn't that the
I
only thing
agree.
that they're
Basically,
technically not happy about?
basically, if he gets the world record, it's like there's no debate of him being the greatest of all time. Many people already have him as that, but it's like, oh, you don't have the world record. But I mean, I personally don't know if he needs the world record, but I mean,
Yeah, so
he,
so
yeah,
so I would say start, but the thing is now Cordell Tension's in the party. For the
that's
record,
true.
I mean, we've got athletes from Japan and France who have run sub 13.
True, true, true.
So it's not like other people ain't gonna come ready to run in this championship. That said, I think everybody kind of knows that Cordell Tinch is the class of the field this year off of like the races that actually happened. He let up the
Yeah.
warning shot at the Diamond League, then, got fast again later on in the year. So, I mean, with that in mind, it's like he knows what he can do. But yes, it's at the end of the day, it's Grant Holloway versus himself in terms of like,
Mm.
can I match what my best performances are? The difference is that because if Cordell Tinch is going to run like this, the pressure that's going to be put on him, it's probably going to be unlike anything he's really dealt with. Certainly in a world championship final, to have
Yeah.
to like for what it would take to win the gold now, it's like because let's just be real and say, okay, if Cordell Tinch is going to run his best race in that final or close to it, like the best quality race he's run, so it's going to be a 12:90, 12:88 type race.
Hmm.
You just dared Grant Holloway to have to be his best self. And the issue is not so much Grant versus Cordell, it's actually Grant versus his injury. Grant versus
Yeah.
like how did he have enough real estate when he left the track from the heat he ran at USA's till now to really get it rocking and feel confident that when the lights are on and the gun goes off, like I can go out there and take care of it. So
Yeah.
it's a question mark. I don't know. And so it's almost like it's not really a prediction as much as it is, do you think he'll be healthy enough and mentally strong enough to essentially have to go out there somewhat cold?
Yeah. I did that's my only thing. I feel like I'm not sure if Grant is ready to match or put down what would be necessary to take down Cordell Tinch. Because I do think it's a good point where Cordell, not only has Cordell never like faced that kind of pressure of like having a target on his back, being consistent this year, he's never been to a world championship or Olympic final. He also has never even been to like all due respect, but like an actual NCAA final where Grant Holloway, coming out of college, he was battling it out with Daniel Roberts, in the NCAA. Like he had to run 12:9 to win NCAAs in 2019, which then led to him winning the gold medal at the World Champs later that year. Like Cordell just hasn't had that type of pressure. Now he has been showing up at these diamond leagues and all across the world, but it is a question of like, okay, does he fold? Does he step back? I personally think Cordell is going to do enough to hold on and be able to get the gold medal because I'm not sure Grant is going to be fully ready to like get back to that form that I know Grant is capable of. But I do think Grant gets on the podium. I can't, I mean, I guess I could hypothetically, but I personally can't see a world where Grant is like not good enough to end up on the podium somewhere. I think he does, but I think Cordell is going to hold on at least to the top spot for at Worlds.
Yeah. But the thing is like when you talk about going that fast, because Grant Holloway's not running for the podium, let's be clear. Like, am I wrong?
He
Like,
wants the gold.
yeah, like there are here's the problem. Grant Holloway has already made it to a point in his career where the only thing he can do is either win or fail to win. Nobody's allowed to beat him.
Hmm.
That's the problem that Cordell Tinch is going to have. Cordell can, like, he could beat him for himself, but in the court of public opinion, Grant failed to win. The only way he can win is he'd have to just go so fast to really convince us. But at that point, you basically have to break the world record because Grant is a hundredth off on his PR, and that's how people think.
Yeah.
Like, if you can't outdo him on the clock, there will always be that like question mark of like, was it really you or was it him underperforming? Because Grant's
Yeah.
been around for a while.
Yeah.
Like he came out of college, as you said, 2019, which doesn't feel that far away, but because he's been at the top and just won so many championships, because that was his goal, just rack up as many gold medals as I possibly can. And he made a choice. The choice was, I'm gonna go to World Indoor and I'm gonna go get this medal. And he did.
Yeah.
And
Every
by
time.
pushing through to do that specifically this year, it made it much more challenging to get this one
Yeah.
outdoors. And that's what because I think if he had just shut it down and said, we're not doing that indoors and slowly got into his outdoor season, perhaps, I mean, I don't know the details, I don't know everything. I'm
Yeah.
saying perhaps it doesn't play out quite the way that we're seeing it now, where again, here we are right before the championship, and it's like, well, what we about to see? I mean, hey, America could sweep. I mean, we're sending different guys, but America could sweep. You know what I mean? Like, there's
Mm.
no reason why we can't when you have all these guys who are close to the top on the leaderboards. I think we're gonna get. It's almost a foregone conclusion. We're gonna get medals, you know, or at least a medal regardless.
Yeah,
But
honestly, I'd be surprised if Cordell and Grant didn't win medals, if both of them didn't win medals. Even as, again, as like bad as Grant's season is, I would be surprised if he didn't win a medal. And then Cordell has just been too good against every other, like Cordell has beat everyone in this field, including Grant Holloway, like every guy. So I'd be surprised. But I don't know if I'm not ready to say US sweep. I think someone else is going to get on the podium. Granted though, shout out to, Dylan Beard and Jacoby Tharp, very very capable, and I'm always rooting for Dylan Beard. But I don't know if we'll see a sweep. I think the Japanese guy Rachi Mortake and the French guy Mathy, I think they may show up considering what they've done, but yeah, granted anything can happen. Anything can happen.
I mean, Sasha Zoya is going to be there as well. It's just I don't know if he can go with the pace.
Yeah, I don't even know. I haven't even seen him in a while, so I'm not even sure like what his status is and stuff. But hey, this is an open, relatively open field, in my opinion, behind Cordell and Grant in there somewhere.
That's
So
fair. Well,
yeah.
that brings us to the men's 400 hurdles, which is we just
Hmm.
talked about an open field, and this one is a different situation because it's another one of those water lines, and that water line has
Hmm.
existed now for a little bit longer, like past year or two now in this event. The 400 hurdles is going to come down to on the men's side, Ry Benjamin, Carson Warholm, Alison Dos Santos. That's it.
That's
Everybody else, y'all are just running to be in a final to say you ran with them.
that's it.
But nobody actually believes y'all are beating them unless something wild happens. So,
Yeah.
I mean, is this Warholm's year again? Is Rye gonna, can keep it going from the Olympic gold? Or does Dos Santos actually take them both down?
I think, I mean, being honest, on the surface, any of those three can win. Like honestly, any of the three. And we've actually seen all of them win a race and beat each other at some point. Like Ry Benjamin, he won a race against Warholm and Dos Santos, I think in Stockholm. Alison Dos Santos beat Ry Benjamin, at the Prefontaine Classic. Carson Warholm, it was a 300-meter hurdle race, but he beat them early in Oslo. And Carson Warholm has a world lead, and he has the world record. Like, and they're going back to the same track that they set the world record at in Tokyo. So I think maybe on if I was to pick someone right now, I would probably go with Carson only because I've seen him more frequently now. Rye hasn't run since USA's, which he doesn't race frequently anyway, so it's not like it's a major concern. Dos Santos, he also hasn't run, but I think he posted something about him training. So I'm actually not like concerned. It's just based on what I've seen from Karsten recently, where he won the Diamond League final. He ran 46.2 seconds, which was the third fastest time ever. I'm gonna edge Carson, but it's not like a confident edge. Like I think Ry Benjamin is also like all of them are good. Alison Dos Santos is all good. I mean, all three of them could win, but I'd probably give a slight edge right now to Carson Warholm. It's just tricky. It's tricky.
It's funny you say that because that's where I was leaning. It's just that I feel like he wants it more
Mm,
because it goes back to when we talk about what these medals mean. In America, for Ry Benjamin, if he wins another gold medal, specifically in this world championship, I'm sure he wants to win it, but does it matter? Not really, because the game does what mattered. Like in the conversations I've heard him, like, kind of talking through, podcasts, whatever, it just kind of feels like he understands the assignment as like the Olympics is the moment, and then the world
hmm.
championships either the consolation prizes that you collect along the way. So if Warholm comes feeling like I want this medal, I'm not saying Rod Benjamin won't try. I'm saying like mean, I'm just gonna pick off of that because the talent splits down the middle in terms of like, I mean, like even when you look at the leaderboards, nobody's
Hmm.
within a half second of any of them,
No,
but they're all
it's
within a half second of each other.
yeah,
So it's like there's them, and then there's two guys who are at least within a full second of that pack.
just crazy. Which is
And then you
crazy.
have guys who are not even within a full second of the pack.
Yeah,
And so, meaning there's going to be guys who can't run within a second of third place
yeah.
who will be in the final. When I say can't, I mean could not. If they wanted to,
Physically,
they
just impossible. They'd
they would
have
have to
to,
run a PR,
yeah,
yeah, just to
like
not
and
lose by that much.
yeah, like yeah, they're just way too far ahead of the field. I mean, yeah, shout out to Ezekiel Nathaniel, NCAA champion. He's run 47 mid this year. You have Abdurrahman Samba who's run 47 low. Um, but it's just different races, and even the Americans with Chris Robinson and Caleb Dean. But like unfortunately, and I feel bad because it's like, I don't know. I want to see them do well, and but it's just like we're looking at two completely different situations where Rai Benjamin, Rai Benjamin at USA's arguably had a bad day, but he still won by like a full second, more than a second, I think, running like 46 something. I forget how,
46.5.
yeah, and I
Oh, wait,
forget
sorry, no,
how
that's the season best. My
that's his
apologies.
season's best. He might have run like 46.8, but I don't think anyone in that race broke 48 seconds or something like that. So the point is, it's just a whole different race. But I will say, I think Carson might have the slight edge. Rye, Allison, I have them behind slightly, but honestly, anyone could win. And I would not be surprised if we see like a world record, in Tokyo, you know?
Well, I mean, that would be when you put this many heavy hitters, facing off against each other. I mean, it's like probably a friendly rivalry of sorts where
Yeah.
they all know when they're training against these three guys.
Yeah.
They know it, and unfortunately, the rest of the field knows. Because if you try to run your race model off of them in the 400 hurdles with step count and everything, you'll mess yourself up real fast.
Mm-mm.
So I feel like it's just kind of it is what it is. They're chasing it down. I mean, of course, Rod Benjamin could get it. Like, there's no reason he couldn't. I mean, if you see his USA's race, you're right. Nobody else broke 48.4.
See, I didn't even know it was that bad.
Yeah, like 48.4 was second.
That's and Rye Benjamin, in theory, like on paper, underperformed. Like that wasn't a race where it's like, okay, I have to like chase Dos Santos or Warholm. He's like, I just got to get the win to qualify. He's still running a time that no one has even touched in their life. Like so
Yeah, so I mean, hey, I mean, like that's on that note, like don't get me wrong, he's dialing in for Worlds. It just feels like right now, like coming off of the Diamond League high, I'll call it, that Warholm
yeah.
has that. Because the thing with Alison Dos Santos, like he does feel like of that group, he's the third place guy, and he's
Mhm.
third on the leaderboards
Yeah, yeah.
again. You know what I mean? Like it feels like, but he's like so close. So that's why it's like him, if he pulls it out, I think that would be the big upset or the big moment of like, wow, he was able to, step above both of them. Because I'm pretty sure that Benjamin and Warholm are both more focused on each other than they are on Dos Santos. Dos Santos got to deal with both for them. I don't think they're
Mm.
running with that attitude of like, oh, I got to beat Dos Santos.
Yeah, I mean, maybe.
It's like they just
Grant,
know they
like
could lose to him.
they could lose. I mean, yeah,
It's not the
because
same thing as like, that's my measuring stick.
Dos Santos he beat them both at the World Champs in 2022, and I mean, I don't know. Well, I feel like all of them are like they can lose to any of them either on any given day. Um, yeah, I think it's all of them are like close, but hey, we'll see. We'll see how it actually does play out, but it's gonna be those three. My name is Anderson from the Final Leg.
And I'm Coach Rob from SCA Track and Field. And thank you for watching this segment from The Finish Line.
If you want to know what's really going on at the high school and college level, be sure to subscribe to Coach Rob Track and Field.
And if you want more content on the best track and field athletes in the world, be sure to subscribe to The Final Leg.